Couple of head coach hirings over in the NHL. The day started with Toronto announcing the hiring of Jim Hiller. Hiller was previously the head coach for the LA Kings for the past 3 seasons, but was fired after 59 games this year. And then following that, one day after announcing they would not bring back John Tortorella, Vegas officially elevated Ryan Craig to the big chair. Craig spent the past 3 seasons as the head coach of Vegas's AHL team, the Henderson Silver Knights. Sal Capaccio continuing his State of the Bills series over at our website, WGR550.com. Next up, it's the safeties. Again, it's up at our website. And do stay tuned. Sal is going to join the show at 5 o'clock. Over in the World Cup, the first game of the day just wrapped up a few moments ago. Portugal taking on the Congo. That game finishes as a 1-1 draw. In about an hour, we've got England versus Croatia. That game is in Dallas. At 7, just north of the border in Toronto, Ghana takes on Panama. And then at 10 o'clock, Uzbekistan. They go up against Colombia. That game in Mexico City. In baseball, some early afternoon action. Bisons, they're hosting Charlotte. They do trail that game 5-1 in the 6th inning. The rest of that one, though, can be heard on our sister station, The Bet 1520. The Mets currently lead the Reds 9-1. That game is very late. It is in the 9th. Blue Jays are at the Red Sox at 6:45, while at 7:05, the Yankees, they host the Chicago White Sox. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway.
It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR.
Hump day!
Sports Radio 550.
Gonna be there in an hour, going in my franchise.
The streak is still intact. I watched about half of this last game.
All right.
Portugal and DR Congo. That's how they want it.
That's how it should be. Seeing it, the final strains of extra time, I would have given myself the credit you've been giving yourself. I've seen some of every game. That was the only part of this match that I actually saw was the last 3 minutes of added time. But that would count.
You think you've seen parts of every other game?
No. You said that yesterday, so you're saying
yes.
I'm saying if I had I don't have a streak. I missed a lot on the weekend.
Okay.
But if I had one, today would be a check. I saw some of it.
That's right.
So
you did.
Yeah, but
Count it.
I don't have a streak. No, I'm way behind.
Last night at midnight, I saw Austria score. I was up late enough to see them score.
You sticking with it
against Jordan.
I didn't even make it to Messi's hat trick last night.
Really?
Yeah, I did the 2
guy.
goals. I'm like, whatever. They were fine here.
That guy.
Yeah.
Could have been 4 pretty easily. But
pretty good if you. I saw a reference. I never saw a bet slip. But I like my Tage Thompson hat trick bet. Like if you went in hard on, you couldn't. Well, you could have done hat trick with Messi, but you've got the 3 of the biggest stars in the world playing yesterday in separate matches, 3 in a row.
Haaland,
Mbappe
first,
and Messi. And if you went 2 goals for all of them, man, you would have been in great shape. all 3 of them had 2. I mean, Messi ended up with 3.
You can do that?
Yeah, I think I saw Sam Monson tweet, congratulations to the guy that had that and won $18,000. But I don't know if he was just kidding or if he knew of someone who placed that bet.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a way to go back and look at what those odds would have been, but it's probably pretty fat. So, anyway.
Yeah, Mbappe's second was late. Haaland and Messi were not that late, so not as much of a sweat.
Right.
But Mbappe was the first game, so you needed that late goal that you hated because you were rooting against France.
Right. That was, I had it.
How do you score from there, I think you might have said, off the air when he scored his last goal?
I don't think I said, how do you score from there? I said, that was from way out.
Okay, that's right.
It was from far out, yeah.
My friend's text thread last night was, is Messi the best player ever in any sport?
Yeah.
Any sport.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Can you really say that? You think?
The fact that he's performing, we just you watched it, I didn't. But everything online I'm seeing about this Portugal DR Congo match is, hey, Portugal, if you sit your legend down, maybe you could win the World Cup. But you're going to continue to trot him out there, and he's killing you, and you're not going to be a contender if you keep doing it. Yeah, and like they're at the same first World Cup for him, for Ronaldo, was the same year as Messi, and he's still, I mean, he's tied for the all-time lead now in World Cup goals. He's the all-time Argentinian leader with that, I mean, obviously, and he also is the youngest Argentinian to ever score in the World Cup, and now the oldest Argentinian to ever score in the World Cup. Like, that is, and 20 years to the day was his debut in the World Cup from last night. That doesn't in and of itself make him the greatest all time in any sport, but I mean, the fact that he's still performing at that level and Ronaldo's like a ghost, says a lot.
I can't say that that's true from watching this game, but that's true.
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
Well,
Ronaldo's older.
That's just what online is. You know, that I'm seeing. You know, could be fans just really really mad. He's
41. Messi is not.
He's
that
30,
old.
39, I think. So yeah, there's a couple of big years.
Well, wouldn't we know it? Could he be the best player to play anything? I mean, is that particular statistic, being the youngest and the oldest to do a thing, not pretty insane? I mean, that's sort of on the Gretzky level?
Yeah.
Where Gretzky showed up as a teenager and was maybe the best player in the league immediately and then played forever. He wasn't the best player in the league when he retired.
No.
Messi's probably not the best player in the world now.
No, because he's not even in the best league in the world anymore, and so he's dominating. You know what is MLS, like a fifth tier? Like the European leagues, I think blow it away. So
a few do maybe.
England, Spain, Italy, Germany. I would say maybe that's it. France, sure. So I said fifth, so maybe that's whatever. So that matters. The fact that he's not at the top tier anymore tells you, like, I think, because if he were still capable of dominating or even being a really effective player at that level, he'd probably be there.
This is like yesterday when I said people should just ask us soccer questions and we'll give them our answers.
We'll do the best we can with them.
We don't know where this league ranks. We don't know where he ranks. We don't know how old anybody. Well, you did. How old Messi is,
I believe,
etc.
I believe I'm right about that. But
you'd think if someone is watching every game, they might pick up on some of this, but yes. I have yet to do that successfully. Anyway, today, Jeremy Kahn on the Ravens and the AFC, and then Sal Capaccio at 5 today. Sal's latest is about the Bills' secondary, which is, I mean, it's defense, but one of the more interesting units on the roster, I think. It's different. It's going to be different with new safeties and just like, obviously, a new coordinator. I have to figure out and you've been sort of pushing at this with the Bills' defense. I have to figure out what it means to me. Whether if they're down or just like there's a transition period ahead, I have to decide what I'm going to do with that. I haven't yet figured out if I need to do anything with that. Because really, last year their defense was what's fair? Just okay?
Yeah.
Pretty good?
Yeah, I think just okay.
And what did it mean?
It ended kind of the same way it always ends.
It did.
And
they won their 12 games.
Yep.
Then they won a playoff game. This is the same as ever. This is what's happened 5-6 years in a row. And then they went to Denver, in this case, and lost and gave up 33 points. But still, like, the Bills had the ball, every conversation we have every year.
And the pile of turnovers that the offense.
Right.
I mean, it was the most, I think, the easiest game they've had in the playoffs to say, like, the defense did not cost them the game. even though they gave up the points. I mean, the turnovers, there's a field goal and a touchdown that are right off of, just here you go. Here's the ball at our 20. Can you get points out of this? And Denver did both times. I mean, that's huge. So, those are going to happen. But, yeah, I mean, last year their defense being what it was, as much as I'm sort of, bracing for, well, we don't have our guys and, another draft cycle or whatever, it might be that if their defense is, middle of the pack or worse even than it was last year, that tactically maybe that will push them to do something different on offense, and maybe that'll be good for them. Like maybe that'll come out in the wash as a net gain.
Well, I know that's true in fantasy.
So
we want the teams whose defenses are terrible.
Right,
we want Cincinnati and Dallas
because you have potent, explosive offenses that have to perform in order for the team to have a chance.
Right. That has not been these Bills.
No.
They haven't ever had to really race. They've been good enough on defense, if not very good.
Right.
At times they were that, where they didn't really have to race. And therefore, well, that's interesting, even if you dig deeper here, to think about, because you've had 2 years in a row, even one last year where their defense wasn't great, but they had the league rushing leader. And the year before, Cook broke the franchise record in touchdowns, tied or won the league title in that category. And so you have a situation here where they've been able to relieve some of the pressure, if you want to put it that way, on Allen. And maybe this year could be different in that way.
Yep.
And what if it is? Are they going to be equipped to race teams if they can't stop anybody? I mean, that's pretty dramatic, but will they be able to do that? Will they be willing to do that? Will they have to get pushed into that?
Yeah.
We want the Bills, all the wide receiver stuff over the years, and this isn't to speak for everybody, but we want the Bills to lean into their strengths. And how is Allen not your strength? So get them weapons, sort of just push into that.
Yeah.
And then you end up pretty much, generally speaking, playing a certain way where, you might not want to be, I'm not saying you don't want to be explosive. And even that word, by the way, is problematic because last year the Bills were, I think, fourth in explosive plays.
It's like 15 or 20-yard plays. I forget where the mark is.
Yeah.
It might be 15 yards. But, yeah, they
were fourth.
One of the highest percentages in the league of drives containing an explosive play.
So I don't know. We all kind of want, again, here I am, sounding like I'm speaking for everyone. I'm not. But want to see the Bills be more, what? Up-tempo, pass first, these kinds of things. It served them pretty well to have pulled back on that, and their defense has been good enough that they can afford it. And that's the point, that this year maybe they won't be. Maybe this year will be one where they have to be able to score fast, and that would mean more stats for Allen, if not more wins overall. That'll be interesting. Sal's got a piece up on the secondary, and we'll talk to him about it later. 803-0550 is our number if you want in on this. Like, what is the Bills' defense? I mean, one thing we've talked about is there are 5, maybe, players that were not retained, that went to free agency, and some of them, not all of them anymore, Epinesa maybe signed, but some of them have not signed anywhere. And that's an interesting little puzzle. Like, well,
most of them have not signed anywhere.
Right. Yeah. Bosa, Trey White, Milano.
Right.
How about that? Like, is Milano so damaged physically that
I don't know.
He's not on anybody's radar?
Yeah, or is he just, what, the price I'm paying physically isn't worth it anymore. I've banked a bunch of dough. Life can be pretty good from here on out. I mean, you get a startup going, or who knows? Like, he could just be on to another phase of his life, for all we know. Guys are afforded that ability at a higher rate than ever because of the money that's available earlier in their careers. You could just say, a lot of guys have done it. I mean, it's usually for health reasons, but I think guys are more willing to say I'm getting out now because I want, I don't want a 5th or 6th concussion. I want to, I want to be with my kids when I'm 35 years old. So I don't know what Milano's situation is, and I don't need to single him out necessarily from this group. All those guys have made a ton of money, but yeah, there's a lot of there were a lot of guys that have been left by the side of the road, and new faces in new places. Like I last time, I'm excited to talk to Sal again. I always am. The last time we visited with him, we were talking about Igbenison at corner, and he's just a different style player, different body type, and I know you're not supposed to leap to conclusions about any of that being a judgment on Maxwell Hairston, but this is sort of what I'm talking about. I invested a first-round pick last year in a corner, and it's possible, at least, that they don't view him as fitting ideally what Leonard wants to do, and thus they draft this kid in the second round out of Ohio State to try to get we need another guy. Okay, I know the numbers thing, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of bracing for that to be a battle at least, and I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Harrison just did not play a lot of football. I don't know what their view of him would be. I know what they'll say. Because he's a former first-round pick who had injuries, like he's got every chance. But I don't know, man. I sort of feel like they drafted IGB to come in over the top of him already.
Yeah, maybe. What we end up talking about the most when these playoff losses happen is the Bills' inability to get the quarterback to the ground. That's been the biggest talking point about their defense and their playoff losses for how many years? 6? 2020 was when they went into the draft the next year and drafted, right, Rousseau?
After the 2020 championship
after 2020.
game, so the 21 draft.
Right.
Yes. Right.
So that is 6 seasons ago, that game, that first AFC championship loss to Kansas City. And really, regular season, they get by. But when it's come down to it, they have failed at that. And I always have a tough time with that because, for one thing, it's like one game. And for another, I know I said this enough times, Patrick Mahomes, well, I mean, it's not easy to get him. Not everybody does it,
right?
to get him down. So that's what a lot of the premise is when it comes to drafting receivers and offense is like, well, you only have so much control over this.
Yeah, but you see the teams that do beat him are the ones that get there. Right? I mean, Philly in the Super Bowl maybe quintessentially. Like they were all over him. And that was it. I mean, it's a high bar. I mean, again, they were dominant. And so, to have a chance usually against him, at least in the playoffs, it seems like you got to get him on the ground.
Well, I mean, the offseason, it's pretty much all set. I mean, there's still, like these ex-Bills, there's still some signings left to happen. But because we have Bradley Chubb now, are the Bills in a position where you can expect that to work out? I don't. I mean,
no. I don't.
It's probably not that different.
I feel like Bradley Chubb was more of exactly what they've been doing, which is like, here's a guy that's pretty good, and we can afford him, and maybe we catch. Maybe he has some career. I don't. It feels like they've never been able to find their way to the Max Crosby trade, or the Myles Garrett trade, or the Trey Hendrickson trade, any of the big pass rushers that are available or even rumored to be available, they never get there. And so it's Bradley Chubb, and it's a first-round pick on Parker, who on paper reads very much like Bradley Chubb, which maybe that'll work. Maybe because they're both here, they'll get somewhere there. But I don't know. I don't feel like the personnel tells me they're going to be better at that. That's where maybe the scheme comes into play. Like, am I going to have more free guys? Am I going to confuse people maybe in a way that McDermott's defense was maybe too static and easier to decipher? At least from the pass rush standpoint, I think they did a good job in the secondary and with their linebackers of always kind of confusing and giving different looks and all that kind of stuff. A lot has been written and said about McDermott's defense's ability to do that, but they were never great at getting to the passer. So maybe Leonard can scheme that into existence. I mean, I don't know. It might be a lot to ask.
Do we want him to wait until January to do stuff? Like last year with Bosa?
Right.
You know what? Not entirely kidding. Can you just wait to play him until January? Because you're probably in the playoffs, and they always were. And then, he didn't break down, I guess.
He didn't break down, but he stopped being effective.
Yeah.
And
That's almost worse.
yeah, right. Yeah, it's like the Ronaldo conversation we were just having. Like, could I have had a better guy there? Maybe, I don't know. It just didn't. And he was very close to being the GOAT of the whole thing, because there were 2 penalties on a late play that got Denver to the win. That or was that the tying? Whatever it was, he took a roughing the passer penalty very late that got undone by a Taron Johnson interference call, and that it would have cost the Bills all the same and been a really, really bad way to lose.
Well, they went, if I remember right, Denver went ahead late, and then the Bills tied it.
Okay, then
Before overtime.
I think it was that. I don't think it was on
Mims.
the last drive. I think it was on that.
There was a
drive.
Mims touchdown.
Yeah.
Doug Farrar had some clips of Bo Nix throwing passes in that game against the Bills. It's just annoying that it's not. This goes both ways. This cuts both ways. It's annoying that it isn't Kansas City, or even Baltimore or Cincinnati, where now there's another team. This could have been New England. It wasn't. It's Denver, where you can't say all the same things like we say about losing to Mahomes. Well, what can you do?
Right.
I mean, they don't want to make those excuses, but at some point you're like, well, he's great, and what I want to do here is difficult against him. I have to outscore him, this kind of stuff. You wouldn't have said that about Denver, that you have to beat
Right.
Denver in a shootout to beat Denver in the playoffs, but that's what it was. I mean, 33-30, right? So it's different that there's another team, and again, you can have the Patriots too. The Bills have not lost a postseason game to Baltimore, but they have to Kansas City, they have to Cincinnati, they have now to Denver, and maybe we have the Chargers or the Jaguars or the Patriots, that are still, they're certainly contenders, and maybe someone else too.
The penalties I was referring to were in overtime. The Taron Johnson Bosa play where they led to the winning field goal.
Do I need to rewatch that game? Is that what you're telling me? Do I need to rewatch Bills Broncos?
I don't recommend that as your friend or as your coworker.
It was always uphill. That's how I think of that game. You were always climbing uphill. End of the first half, mistakes and points.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And
early in the third quarter was the same thing. There was an early turnover in the third quarter.
But they do take the lead.
Yes, they do.
Kincaid. There's a Coleman. There's Mecole Hardman is in the end zone in this game for the Bills, by the way, I think early. But, yeah, that game, it happened so fast.
Yeah,
They lose, and then McDermott, and that's what we're doing.
Hardman scored their first touchdown of the game.
They lose. There's a coaching change, like on Monday?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. And maybe that's fine that we never did
Dwelling
sort
on the
of
game,
like
right.
what actually happened that day.
Right.
I don't think I spent much time talking about like details from the Denver game. Is Bo Nix good? I hate to give you such a brain buster so early in the day. But is he good? Bo Nix? I was in a draft, Bulldog. Do you know that?
Of course I knew that. I just assume it all the time.
Yeah, that's probably, I deserve that. For better or worse. I was in a draft, and he was not picked. Bo Nix was not picked at all. It's
a certain kind of commentary.
Kind of. And he runs.
Yeah.
This is a league where you make changes, too. This is not a best ball where you can't. He always would get picked in the best ball draft because you can't do anything about your roster.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if he's good. He's effective. That's not the same, but it worked well enough. I mean, they were maybe him getting hurt from going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
Right? I mean, it was a close game in the snow at home against New England with Jarrett Stidham playing.
Yeah. I would assume yes.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
I mean, Stidham made one terrible play that cost them eventually a touchdown, and what was the game, 10-7? So, playoff memories. The number here, 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. Jeremy Kahn, Sal Capaccio ahead. Brian Koziol, too. Let's not leave Brian out.
I've done all my work.
I love this day.
I have a tweet loaded already.
You do?
Yes. With the
Already?
I did.
The picks are in.
I did my work. I'm not sharing. I still reserve the right. Brooks Koepka's got a hand injury. He left the Canadian Open last week with an injury, but he's going to play. That was like my pick to win the whole thing. And I found out today he's got a hand injury. I don't know.
Is that bad for a golfer?
It seems like it should
be. A hand injury.
Could be impactful.
What kind of hand injury? What?
I read a quote that said it feels like you've hit your funny bone, but like all the time.
I got to think about that.
So that doesn't seem good. That seems like that could be numbness.
I love this day. We have the picks. Bulldogs up in the pick 10. Brian will be on at 6 Eastern. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. We'll look for your calls next. This is WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfalo, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
give Belknap a ring.
I think as this defense now has a completely different scheme with Jim Leonard taking over, and I think stylistically they're going to be really different in terms of five-man fronts and blitz heavy and lots of man coverage. Then an offense that, thinking about Joe Brady and Pete Carmichael and Sean Payton disciples that they are, and Sean Payton is a very pass-aggressive coach. And he's been either a head coach or a offensive coordinator for 21 years in the NFL. In 11 of those seasons, he was top 5 in pass attempts. So I think they're going to pass more. I think they're going to be more aggressive on defense. I think it's going to have a different look and feel, and I think they're going to try to win games differently.
Morning show guest Joe Marino. G.I. Joe. He's theirs. We never talk to Joe anymore. I don't.
No,
he's a morning guy, apparently.
Yeah.
He's our morning shows guy, one of them. Grand Island, when he was born, he lived on Grand Island.
All right.
Just like myself.
Except he left, and you're still there.
I know. Well, I mean, you could say that.
I did.
I love the island.
Well, it's not the love.
I got defensive there.
You're living on an island. I mean, it's not the love.
I thought about calling you today and suggesting we do this show from my house because it was so freaking hot in here yesterday.
Right.
It was a perfect day to sit on that deck.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that would have taken a lot. There was really no occasion for it.
Yeah.
We have the dog barking and causing trouble. I mean, there was really no particular reason. Just tough it out. Just toughen up.
Well, it turns out the situation's been addressed successfully.
It's beautiful in here today.
I reached out this morning and was told it was 102 degrees in here. I don't know if that was actually.
Who said that? Jeremy?
Yeah, I said Jeremy. I loaded it. I texted him at like 9 o'clock and said, "Is it still 110 degrees in there?" And he texted back 102. Which I just took to mean it's still hot.
You have the thermometer right there.
I didn't even realize that.
I didn't know that we had that in here. Joe was talking to me last night about how it was in the 80s.
Yeah, okay.
And I would have guessed that.
Yeah.
When we were here. We were both sweating.
Right.
But today, beautiful. What, like I'm looking out at the ocean or something? It's comfortable.
Yes.
Comfortable is the word.
Yes.
It's not beautiful. It's comfortable.
I'm very comfortable.
Yes. And I love this day, the golf bets. Ian McMillan is a account I follow, I think Sports Illustrated, 2 days in a row for Sports Illustrated on the show.
Right.
And I am tailing him on 2 golf bets.
All right.
This isn't working out for me so well with Sam. Texas is out.
Yeah, it was a tough one last night. Yeah.
But he likes 2 things. He likes no hole in one, which I couldn't find. I could only find like per round. I stopped looking. But he says Shinnecock, a.k.a. New York golf course in the spirit of the World Cup, that he predicts whoever wins will not be a first-time major winner. Minus 142.
Okay.
The difficulty of the golf course,
right.
The strain of the Open. I mean, I can think, and so can you, of plenty of U.S. Opens where it was a first time. Michael Campbell and Martin Keimer and these guys that had never won majors before.
Spawn last year.
J.J. Spawn, exactly. But I'm betting against it at minus odds because Ian is. I don't know him.
Okay.
That's enough for me. I know what I don't know. Yep. And he is betting, and so am I now, plus 1,200 that the course record will be broken.
Ooh, I like that.
Do you?
That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
That'll be a fun thing to follow.
What is the course record?
So I'm not positive of this, but the last time the Open was at Shinnecock, Koepka won at 1 over. It's the last time a major was won by someone who was over par. And McMillan wrote that they're aware of that, and they're not going to do that again. They're making the course easier.
Right. I've read that as well.
So that same tournament, Tommy Fleetwood shot 7 under one round, even when the winner was over par for the week.
Wow. All right.
So whatever that is, if par is 72, that's 65. Somebody's got to go 64.
This has got me rethinking. I had so much success with the Masters with the 2 out of 4 guys to finish a round. This was like on the Saturday, I think, of the Masters I did this. 2 out of 4 guys. It was Rory, Scotty, Lowry, and someone else. Rose, I think, were the 4.
And you won on this.
2 of the 4 to have a bogey-free round. And I was thinking, and I won almost $2,000, I think, on a $20 bet on that because 2 of them hit. And it was a lot of fun watching, I think it was Rose finish up. Like, okay, he's almost there, right? I was thinking if I find that, which I would guess I will, for this tournament, that I wouldn't want to do it because it's the U.S. Open. It might be a lot to ask.
That'll be baked in the price.
But, well, okay. But now with what you're saying about what they're doing to the setup, like maybe I'll throw a nickel or two on that just for fun because it was such a fun bet.
Bulldog, listen, fairways and greens. Simple as that, right? You play golf.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
Hit it in the fairway, then hit it on the green. What could go wrong? Matt Collar had a funny tweet. He'll be on tomorrow.
I saw this.
Did you?
A par 3, 240 or something.
At least.
Yeah. What do you do? Hit a hybrid 210 yards, chip it near the flag, but it'll roll off the back.
Yes.
Putt scared downhill.
Yes.
Leave it short, right down a 4.
Just pick it up.
Right. Basically, that's it. Yeah.
252 yards. Hole number 2 at Shinnecock.
Yeah. I did see. I don't like to click on everything that crosses your face on social media sites like Facebook, for example. But I saw more than one version of a story. Maybe it's just one guy, and maybe different places picked it up. I don't know. Who knows how they aggregate and whatever they're doing on Facebook. But what a 10 handicap would show. I'm a 10 handicap. I just played Shinnecock Hills. Here's how it went. And I was like, that's around like what my handicap is gonna go up this year. It already is.
What's the number? What do you shoot?
I never got to this. I never got to the guts of the story.
Open like setup.
Yeah, I think like within the last couple of weeks. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Like to be in the 100s would be. But I never found. If anybody knows out there, hit me up. I never clicked on it because it was one of the stories in the comments. And like I don't know, just what am I opening myself up to? I
never go online.
I didn't trust it, so I didn't do it.
Just never go online.
But it was one of the few things that I was like, oh, I would actually really like to read this, but I don't want to click on it.
I would guess that a 10 at an open golf course with the open setup would shoot at least in the 90s. I mean, most of the time.
Yeah.
First look, I would think that 90 is a great score.
95 I think is a great score.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, that's what I think. Even for a 10 handicap with that setup.
Have you played an open course in your life? Oak Hill?
I played Oak Hill after the PGA. And I shot
right after?
Yeah. Like
so it was set up?
The week after.
Oh, that's good. I didn't do that.
And I shot like 101 or something. I wasn't anywhere near as competent as I am now. I think I'm a much better player now than I was then. But
you used to be the big uneasy.
Yeah, right. That's it.
I don't remember what I shot at Oak Hill, and I'm sure I didn't take it that seriously. It was more just a privilege to be out there through different guests and even mostly it was people I didn't really know when I was playing there. It was a long time ago. When I lived in Rochester is when I last played Oak Hill. But I'll never forget that 18th green moment when a guy in my foursome who was doing a lot of the usual nonsense.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just sort of chipping the ball. The ball's right behind a tree. He sort of chips it over here.
Right. Foot wedge.
Picking up 5 footers at Oak Hill,
right?
Which you're going to make about 50% of the time, I would say.
Yeah, right.
And I can still see it. I was on the left side of that green. Maybe there's like a parking lot up beyond it, and the clubhouse is up to the left. And this guy had like, I don't know, a 50-footer. He had some long putt. There's no game.
Right.
There's no match. There's no anything. It's just we're just playing the golf course. And this guy putts it, lags it up there to like, I don't know, 8 feet, picks it up. 8 feet, picks it up. It's like, 89! Ha! The best. I did it. You did what? Tell me what you did. You did what? You said 89 out loud? Is that what you did?
Questionable.
Because there's no way you shot 89.
Process. You are giving yourself at 89. So,
holy cow.
Take that home with you.
This was a guy who was friends of the guy that invited me, and I wasn't there to get in anybody's face.
Right.
But, just that's something you guys can use this. When you go out, next time you're out playing golf and it's very casual and nobody's really that good, just whatever happens, when you finish, just yell 89.
Yeah, right.
Nobody even has to know what it means.
Or if you're trying to break 80, so yell out 79. Whatever. Do whatever you want.
That's a different 79 is no joke. You'd better count everything if you're going to claim 79. 89 is more, I guess I just did that. Good for me. Look at me.
I still haven't gotten into the 70s yet this year. I just haven't dug in. I'm not doing the work, Mike.
No, apparently.
No. I hate the work. I don't really enjoy the work. I like the playing. I like the walking around playing. I like my friends. That's it.
I don't know. Well, who am I to say? This is you, but I don't know that the work is that necessary if you're playing a lot already.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's its own work.
Yeah.
To play a lot, and you're just not playing a lot.
That's right. Because I very rarely have done the work through these 5 years that I've been playing, but I was playing like 3 times a week for the last couple of years, and I'm nowhere near that. I don't even have 10 rounds yet, and we're past the middle of June.
It's summer.
Yeah. So,
why not?
I just haven't. I don't know. I've been in a different routine. The workouts and the bike and the Roswell rides next Saturday, and I just wanted to get right for that. So I have been concentrating on that and not even giving myself the leeway to say like, it's going to be nice Wednesday morning. I'll go play golf instead. I've been just grinding, really. So I'm doing a different kind of work.
You're watching 4 World Cup games in a row?
I guess that was Monday. That's right. I could have played golf Monday afternoon.
Probably could have.
But I
didn't have to work.
Was too busy watching the golf, or the soccer, excuse me.
Brian Koziol joins us at 6 today. We'll talk more about the Open then. And Bulldog has his pick 10, and he's already done. Although he has to figure out what to do with Brooks Koepka's hand injury. Which hand? Does that matter? Which hand is more important in golf?
I feel like the
top hand?
I don't know.
I think top hand would be.
But either one being worrisome would be a problem.
I think if I had I think top hand, for me, left hand, as a right-handed player, would be worse. Because you need some.
I think that's probably right.
You need a solid grip there.
Yeah.
And if your hand is broken or something, then I think that'd be tougher. Who was wearing gloves on 2 hands? Was that
Aaron Ryan?
The winner of the PGA had
Aaron
gloves
Ryan
on both hands. That's right. I'm glad you knew that.
Both hands, yep.
Is that catching? You don't know. You're not out there. Is that catching on? You don't know. You're not out there enough.
I have not seen anyone in my experience these 5 years where I've been playing all this golf wearing gloves on both hands.
It's one more thing you'd have to buy.
That's right.
A second glove. We will talk to Jeremy Kahn, some AFC talk with the Baltimore host coming up in about 20 minutes. Bills and Ravens mid-season this year. New coach there, too. Sal Capaccio, Brian Koziol as well today. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. This is WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time.
How's my mood today? Better? Are you okay so far?
You seem pretty, yeah. You know, less aggravated than yesterday. I don't know if that's the right. I don't know.
Yeah, agitated, aggravated.
There was an edge yesterday, at least to start.
I just hit a breaking point with that Bill's email. Just like, why did I read this?
Yeah, that's a good question.
The effort,
in the depth you did. I looked at it. Do I recognize these names? No. What are these jobs? Okay, I'm done.
fine. Well, that's a simpler.
I read like the
existence.
first line of each paragraph. Like, okay, whatever, good. I don't know you, but I now know what the job is.
I can't help but hate the world when there is a paragraph about the stadium and the effort to which people have gone to, I guess, describe it in this corporate flowery prose that would be offensive to anybody with a journalism degree. Like, just, come on. Any real person would not use the word frictionless. And somehow, like, that got it. It made me crazy. I did have another one of these, though. So I ordered an iced tea from a very popular coffee establishment, world-renowned.
Uh-huh. All right.
And so what does that entail, Mike? You go on your app. I do this like once a week, maybe I'll buy a coffee or an iced tea. Before I leave the house, I go on my app, order, and then it asks you, there's a map that comes up, like where, like this right on the island, right here, order here.
Mm-hmm.
And then your past orders come up. The top one is this iced tea, which is what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I hit plus. Then I go to the bottom and check out. Would you like to leave a tip? Yes, I always leave a tip.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And click. And it says very politely, great, you're all set. Your order will be ready in 5 to 8 minutes.
Perfect.
And then underneath that, it says, how was your ordering experience?
Fine.
I do not
really great until now.
That right.
Really
I
great
do not
until now.
consider this an experience by any sense of the word.
No.
I clicked 4 things to buy a drink, and now I have to be polled on my ordering experience. How dare you? I will never answer you. 1 to 5 stars. I don't know, 2. I guess nobody rubbed my feet when I ordered this drink.
Yeah, right.
Nobody did that.
Right.
What else could have made it better?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine something.
Yeah. It seemed like
really weird.
It sounds like it went seamlessly.
That's between me and you and me and me.
Yeah.
I'm not telling them how my ordering experience was.
Right.
Ordering experience. It wasn't frictionless.
No.
I had to touch the phone.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Processing fees and ordering experience polls and frictionless food and drink experience. I'm losing my mind. That's basically the bottom line here. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, Jeremy Kahn coming up. We'll talk about the Ravens and the upcoming football season. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
Couple of head coach hirings over in the NHL. The day got started with Toronto officially announcing the hiring of Jim Hiller. Hiller was previously the head coach for the LA Kings the past 3 seasons, but was fired after 59 games this year. And then following that, one day after announcing they would not be bringing back John Tortorella, Vegas officially elevated Ryan Craig to the big chair. Craig had spent the past 3 seasons as the head coach of Vegas' AHL team, the Henderson Silver Knights. Sal Capaccio continuing his State of the Bills series. Safeties are up next, and that is up at our website, WGR550.com. Do stay tuned. Sal's going to join the show in just about an hour at 5 o'clock. Over in the World Cup, very busy day. We've already got one game in the books, Portugal versus the Congo, and that game goes as a 1-1 draw. And with that, the DR Congo get their first ever World Cup point. England versus Croatia down in Dallas. That game just got underway a few moments ago at 7 o'clock in Toronto. Ghana takes on Panama. And then at 10, Uzbekistan, they go up against Colombia. That game in Mexico City. In baseball, this game just wrapped up. The Bisons, they were hosting Charlotte, but Buffalo falls 5-1. The Mets, they took down the Reds 9-1. And then a little bit later on this afternoon, the Blue Jays are at the Red Sox at 6:45. While at 7:05, the Yankees, they host the Chicago White Sox. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They have this Panther sound effect that is just the cheesiest, stupidest sounding thing. Big voice guy going, Panther goal scored by Sam Reinhart.
Where'd you get that thing? I trapped it. Been keeping it in my bathroom at the motel, feeding it old pizza.
It's Mike Schopp.
If you're calm, that wondrous big cat will be calm too. But if you're scared, that beautiful death machine will do what God made it to do. Namely, eat you with a smile on its face.
And the Bulldog. On WGR Sports Radio 550.
Coming up later on the show in the same vein as the previous conversation, we'll discuss the Sabres having a new home jersey patch partner.
I thought
not just a home jersey
when you
patch.
brought up how ornery you were to start the show, I was I thought of you when I saw the jersey patch tweet from the Sabres.
Yes.
That I'll just leave it at that. I thought of you.
They're friends of ours. I got to be careful on that one.
Don't be piling on here, Sabres. We did not today.
No.
not today.
Partner, though. We're not season ticket holders. We're season ticket members. Mm-hmm. And if we have the patch on the jersey, that makes us a partner. Cool. With us now on the West Her Hotline is Jeremy Kahn, 105.7 The Fan in Baltimore. Always grateful for Jeremy's time. Jeremy, how's your summer going?
Good so far. Just got back from vacation, and then I'm headed right back out to go on vacation again. We're going up to – my wife and I go to a lot of concerts, so we'll be going to Minnesota and traveling around a little bit. So it started off nice.
Bulldog was on stage last night at a concert performing.
Oh, yeah?
How about that? You didn't get here for that one, Jeremy.
I didn't know where I could get tickets.
Little local outfit called Uncle Ben's Remedy kicked off a free concert series on one of the many greens in the area here on Bidwell Parkway. So I got to play a song with them, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. It was super fun.
Bulldog plays the zither. You don't often see that at these concerts.
Do you mind me asking who you? I won't judge you at all. I go to a lot of concerts too. Who you going to see in Minnesota?
So I see a ton of different stuff. Like I have Weird Al coming up, Jack Johnson, right. Mumford & Sons. I'm seeing Connor D and Nick Price, who are two young hip hop artists. Who else are we seeing? Rush. I mean, like
well-rounded.
We just go and see the Dirty Heads and MGK and all kinds of stuff. So
you throw Weird Al on a list, you've automatically got range.
Right.
Yeah.
You
have to put it in there.
You do, and it's worthy, I would say. All right, Jeremy. Well, here we are again, living parallel lives, the Bills and the Ravens, with coaching changes this offseason after, relatively speaking, disappointing seasons. What are the vibes like there with new management?
I mean, so we kind of feel like we're getting some of these, how do you want to say it, shots taken at the old coaching staff to a degree, or is this just picking up the new staff? Because people are talking about how different things are. Like, these coaches are a little bit more forward thinking, the different types of things that they like to do. Jesse Minter, to me, and even bringing in someone that ran Ben Johnson's system, this group here. I don't know how long we'll have them together, but I do think they have a really, really good coaching staff. And it seems like Lamar's happy, which obviously that's the most important thing here, I think. And maybe you guys will say the same thing up north with Josh. So I think he likes the group he has here. We'll just see if they can finally put it together. If last year wasn't the year for either Buffalo or Baltimore, it's like, please tell me when. Please.
Right. How much? One of the things that we even opened up our show today, talking somewhat about the new. I mean, it's a new coach, but he's a holdover on the offensive side. But it means a departure from the 9 years of Sean McDermott and Sean McDermott-led defenses. And that is Jim Leonard, a former Raven, and Bill, too, for that matter. But it's a different scheme, and it's more attack-heavy and five-man fronts and blitzes and whatever. And, we're trying to figure out, how they're going to fit all these pieces together because they're inheriting, a pool of players that were playing one style. And so might be a little bit of a bumpy point of entry for a new coach. How is that going in Baltimore? Is there upheaval scheme-wise with a new head coach, too?
Yeah, I think there is. I think, look, there's a couple things that maybe you keep from the old group that was here, running schemes and whatnot. But you bring in a running game coordinator coach from Atlanta who has a different style. And Atlanta was lead at the top of the league in rushing yards. I mean, it does help to have Bijan and Algiers, but, understanding that they did have a good running scheme. And then you bring in somebody that ran in Declan Doyle that was running Ben Johnson's offense. And the first thing they started talking about doing is changing different cadences and the calls and working out of the same set and showing different looks. And you love to see that. And then on the defensive side, I mean, all we can say is the Ravens traded Adafe Owe to the Chargers, and all he did was get $100-something million in the offseason because Jesse Minter just said, hey, go get the quarterback, and they put him in a position to succeed. So, yeah, I think we're feeling the same thing down here. It is very exciting, but, that balloon could burst real quick if things don't go the way you want it to.
I suppose they can't just sort of trade for him back now that the coach has moved on. Can't just do that.
No.
So, Jeremy, you mentioned, you slipped in earlier, Lamar Jackson is happy. How bad did it get? I mean, I'm such a fan of his that I might have a blind spot to some of the, I don't know if it's turmoil or what. I mean, of course, he had that contract thing in his past, and I don't know. But did it get to a point where, everybody kind of knew that coach and quarterback were not on the same page?
I think so. I think I've come on your guys' show before. I'm not the biggest fan of John Harbaugh. I mean, I made that clear, and I've made that clear in town, so much so that when he said his goodbyes to everyone in town, our show was not one of them. But yeah, there were too many blown leads in the second half, and there were all kinds of people alluding to it. Some people that want to defend Harbaugh and stuff will say, yeah, he went to New York, but look at all the players that followed him, and you get guys that you're comfortable with and that you want to run your system. I can't wait to see how it works out in New York, but making Lamar happy is key and paramount here because I think I've said it on your guys' show before as well. He holds all the cards. You can't franchise him. He can sign and kind of situate whatever he wants to do. So people are upset that he didn't sign a full-on extension or a brand new contract, that is, instead of just re-upping for what he had this past year. And now he's waiting for Herbert to get paid and somebody else, and then he'll get even more than them when that comes. I just think he's a very savvy business guy, and that's how he runs things. And it makes fans uncomfortable, but I don't think he has a problem going to ownership now, telling him what he wants and what he doesn't want.
If it's known, Jeremy, what was the cause of his, I don't know, unhappiness, I guess? And if it's not known, do you have a best guess?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think some of the failures of what's happened at the end of the year, we kind of got to the same point, and I don't know if you guys felt in Buffalo, where it's like they keep losing in the same ways, and he keeps saying the same thing after games. So I don't know if there was a rift there, and maybe there wasn't even a rift, that it just got overblown, and people are just talking about it as it is. But, the fact is that Harbaugh's not here. We didn't see that happening. We all kept saying, yeah, they'll get rid of him. I mean, he's been here 18 years. So I don't know that there was one. It felt like there was, and clearly with the way he's been talking about the new coaching staff, he's kind of basically killed it with kindness with them, which, takes some people, as I said earlier, and makes it look at it as he throwing some shade towards the old coaching staff.
We didn't get any sort of goodbye from Sean McDermott, actually, did we? He didn't come over. Bulldog.
No, I mean, he wrote. There was something posted, but it was just a general.
Wasn't
thank
like
you.
he didn't come in the room.
No, and I don't recall him listing off media outlets or anything.
No. Did Harbaugh do that, Jeremy? Did he sort of make the rounds when he was let go?
Oh, he went on like from there's a handful of radio stations here, sports-wise. We have 2 teams, and then we have a ton of podcasts that people are doing here that have blown up locally. Yeah. He went on every one of them. He didn't come on our station.
Interesting. Well, take that as a badge of honor, I would say. Not that you need.
And one of my co-hosts is friends with him too, so it's like.
Oh wow! Okay, well, that says a lot. Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah, it is a big change. I mean, Minter was in the organization previously, whereas in Buffalo, Joe Brady had been. I don't know really what to do with it, Jeremy. Like he was calling the plays, and now he's going to call the plays. Like he has a better title, and he gets to decide whether they're going to punt, I suppose, although they have people for that now too.
It's weird. From the outside looking in, it felt like it was just kind of disjointed with, hey, who are they going with? They made a move, and then you're bringing back a guy that was already here and going in this direction. So when I looked at what Buffalo was doing, I was a little uncertain. I really liked what the Ravens did because they went out, and I think they got a bunch of young, forward-thinking guys, and we'll see how it plays out.
Do you think Harbaugh is still there if Loop makes that last field goal?
Man, I don't know. Honestly, I'd like to say yes, he is, because that's what's happened here every year. I'm not saying I'm happy that Luke missed that field goal, but I'm not saying I'm not happy. I don't even know if I said that right. But no, like we don't know. Like everybody was questioning it, and when he was finally fired, it was like, oh my God, it's like finding out somebody's 90 years old and they died suddenly. Was it really suddenly? Like
Right.
That's what it felt like there.
Yeah,
and if it means anything to that question, Mike Tomlin survives that game and makes the playoffs, and he's gone too. Like they did make the playoffs and win the AFC North, and they still made the change in Pittsburgh.
So how, adding all this up, like, how much of an appetite for, like, if not now, when is there with Lamar Jackson? I mean, we could ask the same question about Josh Allen in Buffalo, I suppose, but we're talking to you and you're on our show, so I'm asking you about Lamar. Like, because the fans, like, now they might be like, there's no excuses anymore, right? The coach is gone, you got what you wanted, now go do it.
Yeah, I mean, so at first it was like he doesn't have weapons, and then you go out and get weapons, and then, I mean, it does feel like some weird things have happened in the postseason, but you make of it what you can. I think that's what's going on with Lamar right now. It's like the last thing for you to do is win the whole damn thing, and you haven't done that yet. And until you do, people are still going to question you. Like, look, I know the Knicks just won the championship, but the people that are putting Jalen Brunson in like the top 10 of players in the league and everything else, and top 10 historically, like, that stuff gets overblown in this ring infatuation, which we all do it. We all want to see him win. But, we have 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, and hopefully people can enjoy that ride, and hopefully it ends up in a championship for one or both. But I think that's going to be his biggest criticism until he finally gets it done.
It's also to be pointed out, I suppose, that neither guy or team have even made the championship round. I mean, that's the Bills and the Ravens here. I wonder what it would change if one of them did and then lost. Not that we're hoping for that, but I wonder, like, how much credit Allen or Jackson would get for making a Super Bowl if they didn't win it. You have Mahomes with 3 and also 2 losses, right? He's been to 5 already, and he's 30 years old. So I don't know. I mean, it's not – what can you say about it now, I guess? But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you go back and look at, like, even the Ravens' history, we're going to a point where it's like you add Derrick Henry in. You lose to the Titans, he throws a touchdown pass against you in the postseason.
Right.
Then you go get him, and it's like, well, now they're not going to forget to run the football in the postseason. And in their first playoff game, you're like, they ran the ball 12 times. Derrick Henry got 8 of those carries. It's like, how does that happen? And understanding that game flow can take certain things out, in none of those instances was that the case. So it gets really frustrating watching these teams, because every year you're coming in with this excitement. Like we've even said, what's a successful year for Minter in year 1? Because everybody's expecting a Super Bowl, and it's a little unfair to him, but that's where you're at.
Same here. So in your view, have they done enough weapon-wise? I mean, it's all familiar names, really, looking here. And really one key departure in
Likely?
Yeah, Likely. Thank you. Isaiah Likely leaving to go follow the coach. He's one of the guys that followed Harbaugh to New York. But it's Bateman and Zay Flowers. There's a couple of kid receivers, second team.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think of the skill group overall, Jeremy?
I think they're good. I think they have some interesting pieces there, but they're still waiting. Like Tez Walker, the kid they drafted out of North Carolina, all he does is catch touchdowns. The only problem is, I think, he have 6 receptions or something? We haven't seen him out there. And then you draft 2 guys this year who people are familiar with because of the schools that they go to, and they're 2 like totally different types of receivers. So we'll see how they use them. But in this system, they're going to go 4 wide more. So I hate saying it because I loved Isaiah Likely. Losing him and going more to the system you're going to see in place, losing a Pat Ricard, who was just a road grader in the run game, but now you're going to a different style of offense. I think when you look at it defensively, a lot of things are going to change. I mean, you add in Trey Hendrickson, getting healthy and key at every single level, and allowing – I think the biggest thing for this defense is allowing Kyle Hamilton to be Kyle Hamilton, because he's probably the best player that nobody talks about in this league.
We talk about him if it means anything to you.
I love him. Yeah, as a player.
He's amazing, man.
So much so that I wanted Nick Emenworry in the draft year before last, because I thought he looked like a player that could be used like Kyle Hamilton, and Seattle got him, and that kind of happened. And by the way, for our audience, the receivers, 3rd round, Jacoby Lane out of USC, and Elijah Sarrett in the 4th round out of Indiana.
Bulldog,
new guys there.
Sorry to interrupt. Before you ask me, I will tell you, I'm drafting the hell out of Surratt.
Okay.
In fantasy. That guy.
He's look good.
He's exciting, I think. I don't know about the other one. Lane?
Yeah.
Not that excited about Lane.
Jacoby Lane has he's a big body, big catch radius, where you're looking at Surratt, great route runner, good hands. And they really like the ability that Jacoby Lane can make these tough catches. But I think your better overall bet is Surratt, who he's just consistent, So, again, those guys being added in, you're still bringing back Derrick Henry. You still have Mark Andrews here, and they drafted a couple of tight ends that they like a lot too.
Do you feel good about Andrews at his age?
I think he's a good player. The problem is his biggest mistakes have come on the biggest stages. And going back to it, like, he had an amazing year, but all he's going to be remembered for is that 2-point conversion, and the fumble in the middle of the field, which is sad because he's been way better than that. I still think he's very good. Like if you were looking at Jason Witten towards the end of his career type numbers, maybe he's a guy that puts up, more touchdowns and less yards and less receptions because they like to use him in the red zone. But I still think there's something left in the tank.
I like that point too. I agree with that. He's 30. Maybe there's 5 more years out of more of a possession. Look at Kelsey. Kelsey is still going. And speaking of fantasy, like last year or even prior to that, he's old. So I know he's been so good, and then he still finished among tight ends last year? Way up there.
I know he's drafted in 18, so he can't be that old, but Andrews feels to me like I would have guessed, if you guys just asked me, how old do you think Mark Andrews is? I would have guessed 35. Just because of the way people have been talking about him for a couple of seasons. Yeah. So it's kind of a little jarring to realize he's only 30 still.
I think he's a nice fantasy pick.
It's weird when you start hearing about guys like, oh, man, I don't know how much he has left in the tank. And then you go look at it like, he's 31. Like, right. I'm 46 and I can't get up and down steps. I think these guys are in better shape than I am.
This just gets worse, Jeremy. This just gets worse.
Yeah, dude. What about the division here? I don't mean to skip away from the Ravens here, but our time's going to run out on us. What do you make of the Steelers, the Bengals? I mean, do we need to talk about the Browns?
Yeah, I mean, look, I still think the Browns have an excellent roster and one of the best in the division, but until you get the guy that's going to be handing that ball off and throwing it, they're going to be in trouble. And I still think Deshaun Watson's going to win that job, and then they're going to eventually fade him out and see what they have with the youngsters, but maybe it's too late by then. With the other teams, I mean, look, Cincinnati to me can be scary, but they got to fix their defense, and I don't know if they've done enough. They did they made some moves this offseason to better themselves, which will be exciting, but they're running into that problem with paying 2 wide receivers number 1 money and having a quarterback getting paid the way he is. And when you look at the Steelers, it's all about Aaron Rodgers. I know he's coming back. What's he going to look like? He's looked fine, but he hasn't looked like Aaron Rodgers, and I don't think fine's going to get it done in this division. I still think the Ravens are the best team. I think the biggest threat would probably be Cincinnati. But honestly, I'm not fearful of them. The same way I think, Buffalo's got to look at New England and see something there. I don't see that type of rival right now for this division.
One thing about the AFC North is they get the NFC South and the AFC South. So you look at those 4 teams' schedules, they all look pretty cushy. I mean, I saw the Bengals.
Yeah,
the Bengals are favored in 15 games, Jeremy. They only play 17. I mean, Cincinnati.
Yeah, I think they said the same thing about the Ravens. Like they would be favored in it's something like 16 of 17 games, and I think maybe the Bengals game they split where Cincinnati be favored there and the Ravens would be favored at home.
Sounds
but
right.
I know like the win total 11.5 somewhere around there. Number seems just about right.
I bet, and Bulldog knows this, we love our bets and we love to lose because we're always trying to find plus money and big payouts. I bet an alt over on Cleveland last night. I'm not looking for credit. I'm not even looking for, a handshake here. I just wanted to tell you. I bet over 7.5 on the Browns.
Thanks for sharing.
They do have good players, and I mean, I'm always this way, Jeremy. You don't know this, but like the Jets, the Browns. I'm a sucker.
The Jets, yeah.
The Browns and the Jets every year. I'm a sucker for the Browns and the Jets. Yep. But like maybe, right? I mean, if Watson isn't terrible, I think I could see it. Yeah. And that just we don't know that if that'll happen because by the time he stopped playing, it was really his shoulder more than it was all the allegations against him. It was more just physically he couldn't do it. Then he tore his Achilles, twice?
Yeah.
So, what is that going to look
like? Let's take another zoom out. We went from the Ravens to the division. How about the conference? I guess really it's a question about what do you think of the Chiefs? Are they right back to their status after the weird year last year and the Mahomes injury, or are you a little TBD on them?
Yeah, no, I mean, I still think you can't overlook it. I mean, we're just talking about 5 Super Bowl appearances, and obviously he's the one that matters the most to be there. I mean, I think Andy Reid's an amazing coach, and they could have a successful team without him, but Pat Mahomes does a lot out there on the field. So I think, you start there with his health and can he come back, but also they've made some changes to that defense, trading away some players and trying to replace them. And even the same thing on offense. We just got to wait until who gets arrested for Kansas City in the offseason to find out who they'll have when they're playing this year. But, I think Buffalo, New England, Baltimore, they're right there. The most intriguing thing to me, like last year, Carolina was my intriguing team. I think the AFC South as a whole is going to be intriguing. I could see any team winning it except maybe Tennessee, and we'll see who shows up. But Houston, I got to figure out what's going on with C.J. Stroud. So the AFC South's kind of muddled. If Jacksonville can get back and good old Sunshine can play like he played last year, I think they might have a shot. So usually it's like 5 out, 5 in, or what that was the old adage. I don't know that we're going to see that in the AFC side.
I am curious about that, too. I like Jacksonville a lot. We talked to Aaron Schatz recently, and he has Houston as his number 1 team in the AFC, which slowed me down a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of catches me off guard, but that's kind of like what I was thinking is that if C.J. Stroud is half good, I think they bounce back.
Okay. Buffalo at Houston week 1. Tennessee, like the Jets, not only no night games, no 425s. How about that? There are 2 teams in the AFC who don't even get the 425 slot. They get 2 405s, the Titans. The Chiefs have 4 1 o'clock games. The Titans have, 15?
Baltimore's got 11 1 o'clock games.
Do they?
Yeah.
Yes, we have a weird schedule,
only
too.
4 night
there's
games.
Not a ton of travel.
Right.
Outside of the Brazil game that they have when they're, they travel down to Brazil for that week 2. That's the most travel that they'll have all year long, really. And then we finish the season with all of these divisional games, including 2 Steelers games in the last 4 weeks.
Right. They'll both end 18-15. Because that's how every Steelers-Ravens game goes. Including, by the way, one of those 1 o'clock games will be here in week 8. Buffalo at Baltimore. Rather, Baltimore
just
at
put it
Buffalo.
On my schedule to come on, guys, if that's okay. I'll just pick the time out now.
Yeah, please.
I'll be there.
Yeah, block it out. We're good.
Come on up. At Buffalo.
No, man, one of these times I have to make it up there. We did stop off in Buffalo on our trip to a place called Elmo's and got some wings because it was kind of on the way.
All right.
But, my wife and I like to travel, so we're trying to see some new cities.
All we need is Weird Al. Then we got you.
Yeah, I'm in. Get that accordion out, and we're ready to roll.
Or almost anybody. That's a pretty good list earlier. Thank you for
we saw the Lumineers in Ireland. We just went to Mexico and saw like Noah Khan and Mumford, and so we that's the one thing we do now later in life is we just travel and see concerts.
My family, we're all big fans of a band called Wilco that I just went to see in Chautauqua. And my family's going next weekend. They have a festival every other year in the Berkshires in western Massachusetts, and they're all going to that, but I can't go. I just found out that Wilco is for the first time ever going to Africa. They're going to play in Africa. And there's tour packages and all this stuff. And my wife has been wanting to go to Africa, but I do not think under the guise of a trip to see Wilco that's going to fly.
Not enough?
I don't know. She's got a different Africa trip in mind.
Safari,
right.
And they're like, oh, my God, Wilco's playing here.
Right.
We should probably head over there and see him. It's perfect timing.
Right.
Will it help if they cover Africa? That would help me. But I don't think that's what you want to do there. That song is
maybe
not exactly.
On this trip, we were supposed to see the Avett Brothers in Saratoga, but they canceled.
Oh.
So that was supposed to be the back end of our trip.
That's a great spot, right?
Yep.
All right, Jeremy. Thanks a lot for your time, as always. Maybe we'll talk again before the season starts.
Absolutely, guys. Anytime.
Thank you. Jeremy Kahn, 105.7, The Fan in Baltimore. You need a receipt on that Browns bet? I got it. Why wouldn't you believe me?
I have no. Why would someone make that up?
I know, exactly.
Yeah.
Why would someone make that up?
Speaking of things that are not made up, the Sabres have made a trade. They've announced it themselves. These aren't just reportedlys from Elliot Friedman. Although
1 to 10, how big?
There might have been. Oh, you didn't look. Okay, yeah.
No, I'm looking at the Browns schedule.
Okay, all right. Well, we should get it out quickly because I don't want to.
All right, 1 to 10, how big?
2.
Okay, go ahead.
Kesselring to San Jose, along with the Sabres' first-round pick, which was 27, I think, and they get 20 back. That's the trade.
They moved up 7 spots?
They moved up 7 spots and threw in Kesselring.
Ooh, boy, they must have been completely out.
Yeah.
What's the difference between 20 and 27?
Good question.
You don't have to pay them now or play them.
Right.
Wow. That's
a dump.
What a dump.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it more next. 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
7th overall pick in this year's draft are heading to San Jose for the 20th overall pick in this year's draft. And of course, the draft is next week, Friday and Saturday, and will be hosted right here in Buffalo. Staying with the NHL, a couple of head coach hirings from today. Toronto announcing the hiring of Jim Hiller. Hiller was previously the head coach for the LA Kings for the past 3 seasons. He was fired, though, after 59 games into this year. And then following that, one day after announcing they would not be bringing back John Tortorella, Vegas officially elevates Ryan Craig to the big chair. Craig spent the past 3 seasons as the head coach of Vegas' AHL team, the Henderson Silver Knights. Sal Capaccio continuing the State of the Bills series. The safeties are up next. That's over at our website, WGR550.com. Do stay tuned. Sal's going to join the show in just about a half hour at 5 p.m. In the World Cup, we have one game already in the books and another one going on right now. Portugal versus the Congo. That game goes 1-1, giving the Congo their first ever World Cup point. Currently going on right now with about 15 or so minutes left in the first half. England leading Croatia 1-0. That game is in Dallas. At 7 in Toronto, Ghana takes on Panama. And at 10, Uzbekistan, they go up against Colombia. That one in Mexico City. Then in baseball, the Bisons, they fall to Charlotte 5-1. The Mets, they take down the Reds 9-1. And then coming up later this afternoon, Blue Jays at the Red Sox at 6:45. While at 7:05, the Yankees, they host the White Sox. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
All right, I'll just go out on a limb here this time. Caller 5 at 716-221-4WGR, that's 4947, wins a $50 gift card to Connor's Restaurant on Seneca Street in West Seneca. It is Beef on Weck Wednesday around here. Every Wednesday, score 4 Connor's Beef on Weck meals for just $55 or 1 for $15 because Connor's is better. So long, Michael Kesselring. We hardly knew ye. You like when I said ye? Would you like you? Try to keep it a little bit less.
I mean, I can't.
Old.
I can't.
Ye.
Ye's fine. Yeah.
How many games?
They.
Was it?
24. I'm going to guess. I easily can look and check, which I assume you're doing now.
I am.
I don't know. There's
34.
Okay. There's
It felt like 24.
Right. The first tweet I'm seeing about this is saying, well, many have been saying there's a drop off after pick 20.
Oh, please.
So I don't know.
Is this the Blues saying that? Just like they said they leaked the Parayko trade? It wouldn't be the Sabres saying that?
If that is really the case, I want to just say I hope that means that they find the 20th pick more helpful in completing other trades. That maybe having a first round pick at 27 was not going to get them anywhere, and they didn't want Kesselring around anyways. Like, he was clearly not someone they were ever going to count on. So they spin him into something that hopefully they can use in a bigger way other than just making a pick at 20.
What is this that in the end? I mean, they got Doan out of it.
Let's just thank God for Josh Doan, excuse me. Yeah.
Right. You can't pay him the trade.
No.
But this did not work out.
No.
In all caps with Kesselring.
Really, Samuelson's recovering his game. Sort of that was maybe the first thing. Not that Kesselring could not have found his way to being helpful on a third pair. But that trade was made to find Owen Power his BFF, basically. Let's get him a partner that can really help, stabilize and elevate and all of that. And Samuelson playing so well that they wanted to put him back with Dahlin, leaving Byram for Power. And really, Byram, look, they all straightened out. They all had played much better than they had been playing. That includes Power, who I've been patient and a fan of. But Byram really stabilized his game too. But really, Kesselring was supposed to go with Power, and Samuelson, I think, is the thing that probably messed that up. Because I think if he hadn't broken back through, Byram probably is with Dahlin and Powers with Kesselring, and they're really test driving that to try to get somewhere with it. But the injury took him out early, too, so it never even got a chance to get in the air, this plane, this idea. So, yeah, I mean, thank God Josh Doan, that Kevin Adams held out, apparently, for Doan to be included in that trade, because that is all you've got left to show for it. Well, and the 20th pick, I guess, with 7 spots in the draft.
Which we'll see. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
I think the hockey draft is usually like 6 players.
I'm trying to find something else besides just them dumping Kesselring to get me somewhere. And so I don't know. Maybe 20. Maybe 20 has more. I don't know. We'll see.
You get cap room out of it. You save money. He wasn't dirt cheap.
No, he was going to qualifying offer would have been under $2 million, and so they could have easily done that.
He was cheap then, but he wasn't dirt cheap.
Right.
Leave the dirt out of it. And they are pretty deep. So if they weren't going to play him, we talked with Paul. Like we talked during the season about this possibility that he just wasn't interesting to them, and that he wasn't happy. Right? We had both.
I wonder how much of that this ends up being about. Because they never even went to him in any meaningful way. Just says to me that maybe he burned bridges earlier than he should have. Just whatever. Maybe he was just not happy with how it was going and made it known. And they just went, okay, you can stay over there now, because we got a good thing going. We're gonna go out for beers. Like it became a tight team, a very successful team, and a winning team. And he maybe didn't ever really get on the bus.
Yeah. Tough when you're not playing at all.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe mutually. The Sabres made the move.
Yeah, I have no question that he would have wanted to get out of here. I just wonder how boisterous he was about that even before the deadline, and if they just went, yeah, right, you're
I always wanted to think there was a player in there.
Me too. He's big. He moves well. Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll still be a player. I thought there was a lot to like there. But the fact that they would play Logan Stanley and different types of players, of course, but Kesselring arrived with a reputation of like, oh, he's willing, he'll defend teammates, he's big, okay. But here comes Logan Stanley, and here comes Luke Schenn, and here comes Zach Metza, and here comes, what else do you want? And like Kesselring eventually didn't even have a locker in the main locker in the main dressing room anymore. So I think pretty clearly, well, I shouldn't say pretty clearly. My guess would be he was unhappy and made it known, and that didn't make them happy, and then that was the end of it.
Yep. Well, he ends up going into Sabre Rando.
That's right.
Space.
That's right.
34 games.
And to
two more than Eric Stahl.
And to a really nice rising
San Jose.
Thank you for mentioning that, Eric Stahl. That's a team that needs defensive help. I doubt he's like top pair or like he solves their problems, but they needed to get really busy figuring the back end of their team out, because up front they are loaded with young skill, the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think there'll be opportunity there for sure for him.
I literally cannot picture Eric Stahl in a Sabres uniform. This is 2020, 2021. I literally cannot see him in a Sabres uniform. 32 games, 10 points, minus 20.
How do you do that?
How do you go minus 20? I know it's a screwy stat. You probably just go to the bench every time they get scored on. But how do you like that?
Yeah. Well, I can see him turning that siren in Carolina. I can tell you that. I saw that. I remember that. I know what that looks like.
I just see his brother now. I just see Jordan Stahl when I think of Eric Stahl. I just see Jordan Stahl winning the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Yeah.
Then there was Mark Stahl.
That's right. Whatever happened to him?
I mean, I think he probably just played a long time and played defense, so
called it quits. Yeah.
Wasn't that big a story? The Leafs hired a coach today.
Jim Hiller.
Jim Hiller. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
Square jaw.
Yeah.
Good name, good face.
Seemed very much like no one saw it coming. Which doesn't have to be any kind of commentary on whether it's a good or a bad idea. It just seemed like it came out of outer space.
No one in my house was talking about it. I know that.
It seemed like Greg Wyshynski for one was like, what?
He said, what?
What?
He didn't have it. He didn't.
Right.
He didn't have the scoop.
Didn't see it coming. No.
Right. And Vegas did the thing you said they would do yesterday.
Brought up the AHL coach, right?
From the Henderson Silver Knights, which is a great name for a farm team of a team named the Golden Knights, isn't it?
Yes, it's perfect.
It's pretty good. All right, so Michael Kesselring off to San Jose. The Sabres move up 7 spots in the first round.
We will drop Paul Hamilton into our show about 45 minutes from now for his thoughts on this move.
All right, I'll just do that. I'll just write that in. 5:30?
5:30, Paul.
Sal at 5, Paul at 5:30, Brian at 6. Hey, we could ask Brian about this.
We sure can.
Or even Sal. Got no problem doing that. That's tough. It's good that Doan popped like he did, but Kesselring I thought was a really cool idea, and it didn't go anywhere.
No.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR. Make sure you are set up for any summer entertaining you might be doing. Sal Capaccio, Paul Hamilton, next hour. Separate. Sal first. I'm seeing a clip of us here talking about this trade.
Hey, now.
Yesterday was the first time I can think of where somebody called it and said, I've been watching you guys a long time.
Oh, I didn't even notice that when that happened yesterday.
Might have been Monday. You weren't here Monday. Maybe it was Monday. One of the 2 days, somebody called and said that. Not, joking.
Yeah, right. Just, I've been watching a long time. All right. It's been a couple years.
I am not wearing a visor today, and I think probably you could say why.
Why?
Because I'm wearing a T-shirt with a logo on it.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay. Yes.
I'm wearing my Blue Jays T-shirt,
Right.
which is my most comfortable T-shirt right now.
I am also wearing what I would consider to be my most comfortable T-shirt.
All right. How about that coincidence? Like we didn't discuss it.
It's flattering. I would say
it's black.
It's more, but it fits in a way that hides the parts that I'm a little self-conscious about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. Just to clarify, you can't wear a visor. You can't wear a hat.
Right.
With the T-shirt. Then you're on the team. Unless you're on the team.
Right.
Then you can double up, and you don't want to clash. You don't want to wear like.
No.
I have a South Carolina Gamecocks visor from when I was there. Right. I wouldn't wear that with a Blue Jays shirt. That's just weird.
Yep.
So the only visor you could wear with the Blue Jays shirt is a Blue Jays visor, but never do that because then you look like you think you're on the team. Like you look like maybe you think you're the manager of the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays manager would wear
the manager of the Blue Jays would never wear a visor though.
No, I've never seen any baseball manager in my life without a hat on. Have you?
No.
Can you think of any time in your life you've seen a baseball manager not wearing a hat?
Only when they've thrown it while arguing with an umpire.
Okay, that's it. That's the answer. Lou Piniella picking up first base and spiking it or something. He throws his hat, the hat's gone.
The hat was long gone. If you're going to end up at throwing bases, the hat went way earlier.
The hat is doomed.
It was an earlier scene.
And then somebody gets the hat for you? That's what happens?
I don't know what happens.
You don't
there.
actually stoop to the level where you actually go get it
Oh
after
my
you're
gosh.
done arguing.
No.
Somebody else has to get it for you.
Yeah, the ball boy retrieves it or something, I think, probably.
Blue Jays at Red Sox. I didn't see any of that last night. Toronto won against Tolle.
6-1, yeah, I don't know.
I watched some of the Yankees White Sox.
Good
actually.
for you. I'm telling you, other sports are not. It's fortunate for me that the basketball and the hockey ended because the soccer is just. I'm not even looking for anything else. Just, okay, Fox. Give me Fox. I mean, I got to put up with their intolerable, insufferable promos, but still, the soccer's been great. The commentary's been great. It's very enjoyable.
I don't disagree.
And the rest of the sports world is like ceasing to exist for me.
For me, this was last night, and it was halftime of maybe Norway. What was the game last night? Norway? It was halftime.
Yeah, that was
Norway,
the
Iraq.
game that was happening when we were finishing up, I think.
I got home, set up for ADP chasing, plug in the machine, the mic, the lights, makeup comes over. We get all set up there.
Fancy.
And then we pushed back our start a little bit. So I had 20 minutes to watch TV there on my machine waiting to start. And I picked the White Sox. My White Sox.
Your White Sox.
They got destroyed last night by the Yankees. Wasn't pretty.
12-2.
Was it 12-2?
I did see scores, so I realized there are these other things happening.
How about one of these soccer games gets to 12-2? Would you like to see that?
I don't think that would be a very good soccer match.
No, you'd have to turn that one off.
Yeah. I'd get out of there.
Sal has a new article on the Bills secondary, which we've talked about quite a bit. It will look different. It'll, different names, new names. And we'll get to that and more with Sal Capaccio after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
The Buffalo Sabres have made a trade. Defenseman Michael Kessering, the 27th overall pick, heading to San Jose for the 20th overall pick. Both of those are in this year's draft. And, of course, that draft is right here in Buffalo next Friday and Saturday. Do stay tuned. We'll get more on this. Paul Hamilton set to join the show at 5:30. Some more NHL news, a couple of head coaching hirings today. Toronto announcing the hiring of Jim Hiller. Hiller was previously the head coach for the LA Kings. That was for the past 3 seasons, but he was fired after 59 games this year. And then following that, one day after announcing they would not bring back John Tortorella, Vegas finds their next guy for the big chair, and it comes from inside. They elevate Ryan Craig, as Craig had spent the past 3 years as the head coach of the Vegas AHL team, the Henderson Silver Knights. To the NFL, Sal Capaccio continuing his State of the Bill series. Safeties are up next. It's up at our website, WGR550.com. And do stay tuned. Sal is going to join the show next. And over at the World Cup, we've got 2 games that are either going on or done. The first one, Portugal and the Congo, that got underway earlier this afternoon. It ends in a 1-1 draw. And for that now, Congo, they have their first ever World Cup point. And then at halftime, we've got England and Croatia. That game is all tied at 2. Then 2 more games tonight at 7 in Toronto. Ghana takes on Panama. And then at 10, Uzbekistan. They go up against Colombia. That one is in Mexico City. It's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Just want to say quickly first, not that I think I need to, but I want to. I like perhaps yourself, I'm loving this World Cup. Everything about it. I'm also remembering, this was a guy that I barely knew, but Talk Show Me is going, 2 goals for Harry Kane, 2 goals for Mbappe, 3 goals for Messi, 2 goals for Holland, the Stars, etc. Is this soccer's big moment in the United States? And we've had that conversation. People have had that conversation forever. And I had an editor in my newspaper days, Mike Ryan, and this was something that was told to me secondhand, but I've never forgotten it. He said, soccer is the fastest growing sport in America for the 35th year in a row.
Right.
And so I'm not ragging on it. I'm loving it.
I love it too, but I'm old enough to remember Pele and Franz Beckenbauer playing for the New York Cosmos being the thing that was going to bring soccer smashing to our consciousness. And, that was 50 years ago.
This is pretty hot, though.
Yes, this is awesome.
It's awesome.
I love everything about it.
Sally, want to take your turn? Are you all in on World Cup so far?
I actually watched more today than I would normally watch. I generally watch no soccer at all unless it's a international event and the United States is playing. I think it's cool. I love the pageantry of it. I'm not much into the game itself, the sport, but I do love that part of it. I like learning about the teams now in the World Cup. I'm in this World Cup pool with Bulldog and Jeremy and Joe. And are you in it, Mike?
Mike's in it too. Yep.
Mike, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were in it. I'm sorry. And then. From that standpoint, I did actually watch some of the game today. We did watch Argentina last night with Messi. Max likes Messi and didn't realize he scored a hat trick till this morning. And so from that standpoint, I like the spectacle of it, and especially being in our country.
You were covering Bills practice while that draft was going on, so it's forgivable to me that you didn't know the entire roster of who's in and who's out in that thing.
He sniped me on Turkey, Sal.
Oh, I just went by betting odds. I really did. I kind of looked and said, who's left and what are the betting odds? Okay, that's the top team. I'm taking them.
I did a little of that, and I did not think at all about who was in which groups. Turns out 2 of my teams are in the same group, and they're both underdogs, and there's no way they're both coming out.
Uh-oh.
But I needed to draft Panama simply because I wanted to use that David Lee Roth image from the music video. So I had to do that.
I love it.
So that was it.
Hopefully that was worth it for you.
Yeah.
Worth possibly losing.
We'll see tonight.
Is it winner take all?
I don't know how our thing is working.
Okay.
I just said yes and didn't even know I was signing up for a draft.
Okay.
I do know this. I just watched Harry Kane put one off his head into the goal. I'm like, okay, I think that dude is supposed to be really good. Like hear Nick Mendola talk about him, how great he is. And okay, forgive me. Okay, this is not my expertise, and I'll fully admit that. And I'm gonna sound really ignorant about this and like an idiot probably. But like, why is it so tough to defend those headers? Like, why is it so tough to defend those corner kicks and guys coming in and hitting it off their head? Like, it seems like it should be easier to defend. They're so good at doing it. And I'm like, that's amazing. But like, why do so many guys? Why can they score on that? So much?
I think that one was because he came from deep. Like they weren't out there.
Yeah, he was way off the
him.
play and came in, and I am assuming that was a set. Like it was just the player kicking the ball. Kicked it there for Kane to come roaring in.
Somebody from Croatia could say, however, let's make sure to mark that guy.
Yeah, where's Kane?
Where's 9?
Right, yeah.
But I liked how as soon as he hit it, he went right to the flag to celebrate. Like it wasn't in the net yet, and he was already running to the corner.
He walked it in
for the celebration. There's a guy who's done that before. I think that guy.
Yeah.
All right, Sal. Well, this is not that any of this necessarily will be actually, but a new topic for us, the three of us together, and that's the secondary. That's your latest update, state of the Bills, the safety position. Lay it out for fans here. Like just how will it line up? No Taron Johnson anymore. Rapp is gone. What about, Hairston's status? There's a lot to think about here.
Yeah, so I wrote about both corner and safety over the last few days this week, so we could touch on both here. And I'll start with outside corner. We do have to separate them, outside versus slot, obviously. So I'll start with outside corner. I still think you have 3, and then who else? Like, there's room for another outside corner on this roster. Benford and Hairston should walk into training camp as the starters. But certainly, as we've talked about, I think that IGB could give Hairston a run for his money if Hairston can't stay healthy or they just really like his game. They drafted him because they really like the traits that he brings, things like that. I think Max Hairston also had a really good OTA and minicamp from what I saw, and I think that he's up to this task. So let's see. That should be a good battle and a fun battle. Nothing wrong with having 3 guys you really like. Nothing wrong with having an option there, and guys are going to get hurt. We know that. That's happened. So those are the top 3. And we can slice and dice Hairston and IGB and debate what could happen there, and let's see it play out in the field. Who's behind them? Toriano Pride, a 7th-round pick? Kari Walker, an undrafted free agent? Jordan Dunbar, an undrafted free agent? They don't have anybody. To Corey Couch, who's really more of a slot, but they've used him on the outside in camp. He's been with the team a couple years. Like, guys, I just don't know who that 4th corner is right now. And I think you have to dress 4 corners, You generally do. Yep. You dress 4 corners, outside corners, in games. And I think it's really interesting here. And obviously the name Tre'Davious White comes up. He's still unsigned. They have not given his number out. Whether it's Tre'Davious White or someone else, I think that they would keep a veteran on speed dial to ready to call. But they'll probably give this 7th-round pick, Toriano Pride, every shot in the world to see what he does before doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how much positional flexibility. I'm just looking at the depth chart, and Jordan Hancock is the name listed behind D. Elford, so that slot corner, I'll bet if he could play outside corner, maybe we'd know that, and you'd be mentioning this as a part of this conversation. So, yeah, I wonder about another guy. I said earlier, Sal, and you phrased it the way you did, talking about Hairston and Igbenegson. Like I'm almost bracing for Igbenegson to beat him out, just because. I mean, it's the new coaching staff, the new system. It seems he's their guy. They drafted. They didn't draft. Brandon Beane did, but did not draft Maxwell Hairston. And I just wonder if the writing's already on the wall there.
I don't think so. I think that Maxwell Hairston will have every shot to maintain that job, hold down that job. But I absolutely think that as time goes on, that could happen. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's necessarily right away. Now, sure, could it? Yeah. I don't think it's something they're just going to hand to Igbenegson, IGB, people want to call him just so we know who we're referring to here. I don't think it's not something they're going to hand to him or even nudge him to be ahead of him. I think this is Maxwell Hairston's job. Walking in a training camp, he's got to lose it. And I think they do like his traits, what he has. They're not just going to put IGB on the field just because he's long and has some of these traits. He's got to go improve it. I think the biggest thing with Hairston might be the injuries, and he's smaller, and if he can hold up. So if we're having this conversation around Halloween, Thanksgiving, I'll give it. I think that could very well be the case, Bulldog. I'd be a little surprised if it happened right away.
Yep.
But certainly, if IGB comes in, I mean, IGB reminds me a little bit of like Dorian Strong, who they drafted last year, and unfortunately, we know now he's going to miss the season again. He's going to be on IR all year. This really kind of threw the corner long-term plan into flux here. And I think IGB does kind of give off a lot of what we saw and what we felt about Dorian Strong last year when he was actually showing that he could play football and be on the field and have these kinds of traits. Now it's a new defense, obviously. No, Jordan Hancock can't play outside. He's either a slot corner or a safety. At this point, I don't know where they're going to put him. I think slot corner is where I have him, and that's what he's going to be, I should say. But, I mean, it's another year, I think, where I just don't see he's going to be on the field that much and, maybe not even active on game day if he makes the roster.
Well, there is, not only in your words, but in your voice, there is some concern, I guess, about depth at least in the secondary. And the question eventually becomes, how exploitable are they? And we don't know that yet. That's if the rookie's good and the veterans hold up and are making plays for them like Gardner Johnson has done in his career, then I think, you might be fine. But one other piece of this is whether the balance between pass defense and run defense on the Bills changes, because they've been, as we've talked about as well, elite against the pass for almost a decade, and against the run maybe was overstated how vulnerable they were, or the importance of that, but it that wasn't on the same level. So I don't know. Do you think philosophically that might change, that might shift?
Yes. I think that, I'm not going to say okay. Nobody's okay with giving up big plays, right? But I think if they have more big plays made but more big plays given up, that might be a trade-off they're willing to have, versus where Sean McDermott, and when he was the head coach, that's just non-negotiable. You don't give up big plays. I mean, like, we would take the trade-off of not giving them up by not getting them. I think this might be a new philosophy of, we're going to make big plays. You know what? That might come at the expense of giving some up. And I think the Bills might be more okay with that now than they have been in the past, if that makes sense. So I expect that. I think we use the term, high event in hockey. Is that what it is? High event? Right?
High event, low event. Yeah, sure.
I think we're looking at a high event defense this year. I do. I think you're going to look at a high event, maybe even a high event team where they have Josh Allen. Matt Bove and I, when we did the pod last week, we were talking about this very thing. And he made a really good point when Bradley Chubb was signed. We did a Zoom call with him. Bradley Chubb from the outside. Now, this is a guy that played for the Miami Dolphins against the Bills for the last several years. So it's his perspective now. So it's really interesting, and I think probably should be taken for something here. He said, for the last several years, the Bills' defense was just don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. And do what you have to do to let, Josh Allen and company do what they have to do. Whereas now he's coming into a situation where they've been told, no, we're going to go out and try and win games too. Like, well, that's on us. We got to go make plays. We got to win games. Well, I think making those plays, the trade-off could be that you also give up some plays.
Yeah, I really wonder about that. We were talking earlier here, Sal, really, I think at the open of our show, about, like, with the defense, I like how you put it there, like high event. Like, maybe if the defense, isn't up to snuff, they feel they need to pass more to be in high event type games, and maybe that ends up being the thing that sort of gets them over the hump. If they lean into Josh Allen a little bit more, instead of trying to sort of lean on the defense, play keep away, right, run the ball. I'm not saying they abandon the run, but maybe they're not like on an island as a run-first team in the league. Maybe they get back to trying to lean into Allen a little bit more.
I think you're going to see those higher, bigger plays, both positively and negatively on defense. And I also think you're going to see a spike in Josh Allen's numbers, both positively and negatively, thinking about all this, which I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh has some incredible numbers put up, but I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe his turnovers or negative plays are a little bit more than what we've seen over the last several years. Again, a little bit more high event. Like, we have Josh Allen. We're going to go out and win games. What did Joe Brady say? Joe Brady said something really interesting, and he would never really say, you're not going to say something negative against Sean McDermott or something like that, but if you really pay attention, he kind of gave you a clue back when he was hired or shortly after that, which was he was asked about calling plays and, how much freedom did you have? Sean McDermott being the defensive coach, how much did he have a say in it? And Joe basically said, paraphrasing, hey, it was my offense. I called the plays I wanted to play, to call.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly what he said was there was definitely more of a directive when they played better teams with better quarterbacks to not lose the game on offense, excuse me. So what does that mean? You're kind of reining Josh in a little bit. You're reining the offense in. Be a little more conservative. Don't give them more opportunities. Don't give Patrick Mahomes. Don't give Joe Burrow, whoever it is, more opportunities. I think that's gone now, guys. I don't think Joe Brady gives a crap. Honestly, I think he's like, I have Josh Allen. I'm going to go win the game, and I'm going to let Jim Leonard go win the game on defense. And that's why I think we're in for a wild ride.
Well, I don't hate the sound of it. Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. So part of this too, Sal, maybe this is more just how Jim Leonard sees defense, and then now by extension the Bills, or also it lines up with certain trends in the league. You know, getting to a point where you might want to be better against the run. The teams are passing less or less efficiently, at least. So the timing might be good.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, back to your question, Mike, about how good they've been against the pass, but they haven't been that good against the run, because that's kind of by design, right? Hey, we're not going to get beat over the top. We'll let you bleed for 10 plays because you're going to make a mistake, right? One of the things that happens is when we look at a run defense, we think about stopping the run. We all do this. We think about the middle of the field. We think about defensive tackle. We think about linebacker. Oh my God, they're so good in the middle. Actually, where the Bills really got hurt last year a lot was on the edges. The Bills couldn't stop the run on the edges a lot. A lot of that was Joey Bosa just being undisciplined. They just didn't do a good enough job of that. Greg Rousseau is a good run defender. This scheme will even be better for him in the run. Now, he's probably not going to be a double-digit sack guy, but Bradley Chubb has been very, very good against the run and good at getting to the quarterback most of his career. And again, not a guy that's going to lead the league in sacks, but he's just been excellent in all areas of that. And then they go out and get TJ Parker, who Brandon Beane compares to Bradley Chubb. Like, I think a big, big concerted effort this offseason from what they wanted to do as an organization and what Jim Leonard wanted to do was say, look, we are going to funnel everything inside. We're not going to get beat on the edges. And we have dudes who can still get to the quarterback there. It's not like we're neglecting it, but we're going to make sure that when you run on us, you're not going to be able to run to the edge, and we're going to have population in the middle anyway. So last year, that just didn't happen. They got beat on the edges too much. So I think that's part of this whole thing. Now, the variance part we didn't touch on, but that was corner I mentioned. You guys asked me about secondary. I wrote about safety today.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, Bishop and Gardner-Johnson, the two starters. C.J. Gardner-Johnson led the league in interceptions just a few years ago. I was doing the research today, I put a chart out. He has 20 interceptions in his NFL career. He is a ball hawk. You know what else he is? A guy that gets a little bit undisciplined on the field sometimes. Right. And I'm not talking about the stuff that they wouldn't want a guy like that on the team.
Right, he's a risk taker. A lot of turnovers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
He vacates his spot, right? Like this is what we're looking at this year. But he's going to start. He's going to play. They want that guy. And pairing him with Cole Bishop, who they can move around, I think is exactly what they want. And then I'm a little concerned about safety depth as well. But honestly, like, you have veterans in there, Damar Hamlin, Geno Stone, like, those guys can step in, give you a floor, understand what they're supposed to do. And if that's the case, and then I really, really am super interested in Jalen Kilgore because he's really kind of an ultimate chess piece.
Yeah, I feel like Kilgore, like, I would expect, Sal, I don't know, maybe you'll say different here, but you mentioned Stone and Hamlin. I'm guessing there's only room for one of them.
Agreed.
Right.
Because Sam Franklin's probably making the team.
Right.
And he's a safety who plays special teams, but you at least have him in break class in case of emergency at safety.
Right. But Kilgore's the fourth guy there, I think.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. I think third, fourth, however you want to clear. Now look, this might open the door for Jordan Hancock again.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have him at slot corner, it appears, behind D. Alford, who's entrenched there. I think he's your starter going in. But maybe that's position flexibility to say, we could keep Jordan Hancock, and he can also move back there a little bit. Didn't go great for him last year when he had to play a little bit, but didn't go great for Cole Bishop his rookie year either. And then look at the ascension last year.
I like your chart, top 20 active interception leaders, including C.J. Gardner-Johnson with 20, tied for 14th. There's Bills all over the place here. Trey White has 19. Rasul Douglas stopped by. He has 21. Jordan Poyer has 25, still active, and of course Darius Slay, with 28, tops the former or current Bills on this list. Harrison Smith, the active leader with 39 picks. This is a tough. I would bomb on this list. Just
we don't know about his future yet either. He hasn't signed with anyone.
Harrison Smith. Yeah. I would just bomb on this list. I don't know. Rod Woodson. I would say. Who's active? I don't know. I'm stumped already. I would be really bad at this one. Okay, so Bill's off for a while, obviously. You have more of these articles coming up, or are we almost done?
I have one more to do. That's special teams. We talked about that a little bit last week, earlier this week, whatever. That I'm really curious about. We haven't seen Tyler Bass kick, right? I mean, like, what does that look like? So I'll touch on that more, but, that's what I'm thinking. First of all, what does that look like if they get to camp, and is he okay? And then there's going to be a punting battle. I, at this point, would expect the draft pick to win the punting battle, but you never know. He might show up and not be able to handle, whatever in the NFL. That's Tommy Doman. Mitch Wishnowsky is on the team. And then Reed Ferguson. One of the things I was thinking about today, guys, I went to the 2016 draft. Now, Reed wasn't drafted, but he came into the league in 2016. He's the longest tenured Bill, meaning on the team for, longer than anybody consecutively. And there's like 40 or 50 people still in the league from the 2016 draft. I'm sure there's some that are undrafted free agents, but here's Reed Ferguson still just doing his thing, which is really cool.
Tommy Doman, 7th round pick, one of 3 by the Bills.
Yeah,
the punter out of Florida.
They really liked him. I mean, they did a. Yeah, I want people to understand, like, the Bills did a lot of research on punters this year. Like, one thing, and it was so funny. Brad Ryder keeps saying, Sal, you kept coming on here and say they're drafting a punter. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm telling you, like, I knew for a while they were really into punters at the combine. The new stadium is a big deal. The new special teams coordinator, like, they really went deep on punters this year.
Not like the 81
this is
Colts.
So interesting. This is such a nugget to be walking around with. Like, I mean, I saw you out and about yesterday.
Like the 81 Colts, Sal. If the Bills really cared about punters, they would have picked one in the second round, like the 82 draft, the Colts that year.
I don't think times have changed those. These punters are such great athletes with big legs. You don't need to draft one in the second round if you want one and like one and whatever. These guys they can do everything. This kid actually kicked off when he's at Michigan, grew up in Michigan, played in colder weather. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, these things mattered.
Yeah, no need to do that. All right, thanks for fitting us in today, Sal.
All right, you got it, guys. Thanks.
That's our Sal Capaccio on the Wester Hotline. His appearances are always brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
We're at 3-2 England.
Someone other than Kane scored. That's allowed.
Bellingham.
Yeah.
Jude Bellingham?
He spent a minute at Man United. I remember them chasing him down from a team in Germany. It was a big deal.
Has Croatia ever heard of a word called defense? Have they ever thought about that? Well, every time I look up, they're just getting swamped.
Yeah.
But they're still in it. 3-2. England. We have a game in Toronto tonight. Panama and Ghana. Your Panama.
My Panama. Go Panama.
And then we have a late one in Mexico. Uzbekistan and Colombia. See, Colombia. I'm like Valderrama.
I'm gonna choose to read about that one. I don't think I'm gonna make
your
it.
streak ends.
I'm not gonna make it to that game. No, I'm not gonna make it to that game.
I intend to, and I know I will. I've watched a minute or more of every game, much more. Usually.
Even midnight last night, right?
Oh yeah. I watched almost the entire first half last night.
Wow.
Austria, Jordan.
That's how we're different. I only made it through the first half of the Argentina game, which was at 9.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I have a streak going.
I don't want it as much as you.
Right. I have a streak going. Saturday's going to be tough.
You're on the road with lacrosse?
Yep. That's going to be I got to get it on my phone on Saturday. Just, peek. And I have a draft.
Oh, boy.
Saturday's going to be kind of complicated, but still great. Paul Hamilton coming up. The Sabres have traded Michael Kesselring to San Jose today and moved up in the first round, for the gesture from 27 to 20 in round 1. The NHL draft is in Buffalo next weekend. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Also coming up, Brian Koziol. It's that day. One of my favorite days. 4 times a year on this show is the Pick 10 Picks. Brian comes on. The U.S. Open starts tomorrow, and right. Bulldog has the picks. He's like, it's already done. The tweet is written. He's like Ian Hartitz scheduling tweets. Mm-hmm. It's all set.
I didn't schedule it. I'll just go into drafts and launch it. I haven't figured out how to schedule these things.
That's fine. You don't want to admit to that. Next with Paul after the update here on WGR.
Summer can often mean your driveway becomes much more than just a place to park the car. It's a backdrop for cookouts, pickup basketball games, and hanging out with all kinds of friends and family. But if your driveway is cracked, uneven, holding water every time it rains, you need to call the driveway guys at Premier Concrete. It's Bulldog here, and these guys love doing driveways. You can count on great service, transparent pricing, and most jobs finished in just one day. If your driveway's all set, but like me, you need help with a patio, or really it's sidewalks and my front walk, Premier Concrete's going to come take care of that a little while later this summer for me. Visit PremierConcreteWNY.com today to schedule your estimate with the driveway guys.
The Buffalo Sabres, they have made a trade. Defenseman Michael Kesselring and the 27th overall pick in this year's draft. They're heading to San Jose for the 20th overall pick in this year's draft. And, of course, that is going to be right here in Buffalo next Friday and Saturday. And for more on this, Paul Hamilton is going to join the show next. Staying with the NHL, we did have a couple of head coach hirings. Toronto going with Jim Hiller. Hiller was previously the head coach for the LA Kings for the past 3 seasons. He was fired this year after 59 games. And then following that, one day after announcing they would not be bringing back John Tortorella, Vegas finds their next guy, and it comes from within. They elevate Ryan Craig, as he had spent the past 3 seasons as the head coach of Vegas's AHL team, the Henderson Silver Knights. In the World Cup, Portugal versus the Congo, that got the day started. That went 1-1, giving Congo their first ever World Cup point. And then currently going on right now in Dallas, we have a bit of a goal fest. England leads Croatia 3-2. We've got about 30 or so minutes left in this game. At 7 o'clock in Toronto, Ghana is going to take on Panama. And at 10, Uzbekistan, they go up against Colombia. That one in Mexico City. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
I think you said earlier off the air that you were doing some outdoor homework today? Gutters or what was it?
Hedges. Hedges. There's the ladder. I've got, this long-reaching hedge trimmer that's like barely, it's so cumbersome you can barely manage to use it because it weighs just enough that you can, I got to stop.
It's too heavy.
Really long. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could invest in like I don't know, they make these things out of titanium or something, like golf club technology hedge trimmer. That would be helpful to me because this thing weighs like 80 pounds and I'm just outstretched and But I did it. So I was joking with you. I texted you and said, because it's been so hot in here earlier this week, it's been fixed. But like, I'm trying to work up my tolerance. So I went outside and did like I like doing the stuff around the house, the yard work. This is the one thing I don't like doing. Getting up on the ladder, reaching, everything hurts after I do this job. But I got to do it. It's got to get done. Kids are at work. It's a nice day. It's not that hot.
Kids are at work. Anyway. Paul Hamilton with us. Paul, are you a hedge guy? Do you have any advice here?
I did mine today, some of them.
Look at this.
All right.
Look at you two.
Because it's garbage day, so the clippings get to go out.
Yeah.
And then I get an empty tote container tomorrow to finish up with. So because I can't get all the clippings in one tote, so I have to.
Boy, you and me are hive mind on when the garbage day is. I hate it when like big packages. I'm just as guilty as anyone in the house. Like, I order a guitar online and it comes shipped, and it's like there's more cardboard than a pizza place goes through in a month when you get a guitar shipped to you, and like it came Thursday afternoon. I gotta wait a week. I gotta wait a week for the cardboard. I'm very.
Yeah, that does sound like you.
Yeah, I'm glad to know,
Just
Paul.
let it sit there for a week. Who cares?
No,
you can't. It still bothers you.
I can't do that. No.
See, now I might take mine out the cardboard and plastics and all that maybe 6 times a year. I wait till I fill it up because nothing's going to spoil in there. It's cardboard and plastic.
No, look at you.
So it's like, why should I take it down until it's full? So
yeah.
I just wait till it's filled up and then I take that one down.
I got one problem, Paul. Beer cans.
Don't you go back and get your nickels?
No,
or whatever,
I just put them out there and somebody comes.
You do really?
Yeah, I've been doing that for years. Yeah. Anyway, and I don't have that many beer cans. I don't drink that much at home anymore. Anyways, but
so we have a Sabres trade.
Moving along. Yes, we do, Paul.
Yes,
Paul. I bet it doesn't shock you that Kesselring is gone already.
No, and he's never, to my knowledge, publicly asked to be traded. But I'd be probably pretty surprised if he didn't ask. He did say to us in the media that, when he was the healthy scratch as the season was winding down and again in the playoffs, he did say he disagreed with the way Lindy Ruff was handling it. But I will tell you this, in practice, he gave it his all. I mean, he did not slough off in practice, or he kept himself ready. He at least wasn't pouting on the ice when he was out there for practice and that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to get back in the lineup, and all of a sudden Timmins is now ahead of him, and then Metz is ahead of him, and then
Stanley's
and Shen
ahead
of him.
Get here, yeah,
and then
right.
Shen's ahead of him,
right?
And they're all bouncing ahead of him because of injury. Now let's all be honest here. I mean, he never had a chance to become the defenseman he was in Utah with Team USA because he was hurt in training camp, and then he came back too early. He admitted that, and he didn't have his speed. He didn't have his strength. And while this all was happening, number one, because the trade was almost not quite to the day. It was the 26th last year, and we're on the 17th.
Okay.
So it's almost to the day a year ago. But back then, Byram hadn't signed a 2-year deal yet, and I don't think he had yet.
And Samuelson was like
Samuelson
MIA.
hadn't emerged into what we saw many nights. He was Buffalo's best defenseman. So he was the cog. Now, sure, Kevin Adams very wisely wasn't going to make the trade without Doan being thrown in there, but Kesselring is who he wanted to be a right-handed shooting defenseman, to pair with power, to be in the top 4. And had he not been injured, he probably would have gotten that opportunity to do that. But being injured just took that opportunity away, and by that time, there no longer is a top 4 position for him, depending on what Byram winds up doing. He has 1 more year left on the deal, so he'll be with Buffalo for sure next year. But Kekalainen has already said he's very interested in re-signing him long-term because he believes that you start from the back end out. He also believes the Sabres have the best top 4 defense in the league. I think you could argue that for or against.
Mm-hmm. It's not crazy to say, though.
No,
right,
not at all.
Right,
not at all. He could be right.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, you could argue it for or against. And so the best Kesselring could do right now is try to work himself in the bottom pair, but I think Lindy Ruff likes Timmins better than Kesselring.
I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, the choices made tell you that without anyone having to say it at a news conference.
It was the playoffs.
Yeah.
It wasn't game 71 of a lost season. Like it was the playoffs. Player got your best guys.
They used everyone they could ahead of him.
And the one game he played less than 5 minutes. What was it, 4:25, I think?
Right.
And actually in that 4:25, I actually liked him. He made 2 good plays. I remember writing in my notes, but he only played for, a little bit. So he saw the writing on the wall here. Lindy Ruff has a contract extension. I think if you're Michael Kesselring, you're thinking you're not Lindy Ruff's guy, and you're not going to be Lindy Ruff's guy. So let's get a new start somewhere else. And I read when you're talking about value, it's about a middle second-round pick moving up from 27 to 20th. So, that's –
Yep.
And then the question is, are you looking for a trade that maybe the other team wants 20th instead of 27th?
Yeah. I don't want to cut it too fine and have it be too convenient here, and maybe it's overthinking. But it's trade season. It could be that Kekalainen has talked to a team or 10 teams, and 27. You give me to 20. Maybe that opens a door. And that has value in a big deal, So I want to be hopeful for that this is, because otherwise it's really just a dump. Like if you're picking 20th and 20 instead of 27th, recognizing that there's obviously it's 7 picks higher. There's some value there. I just hope it's there's something bigger in mind here, because otherwise I dumped what could have been and should have been even a useful player. To move up 7 spots in the draft, and I just don't think that would be smart. So I'm expecting. I'm hoping. I can't say I'm expecting that it's a flip.
I wouldn't be dumping on Kevin Adams myself here, because he can't predict 3 injuries for a guy that they thought was going to step in and be a good defenseman. And let's face it, Kevin Adams also, and both GMs have confirmed this, would not make the trade without Doan being in on the trade.
Right.
And when Doan came here, Adams, one of the first thing he says, he goes, we see an upside with Doan. I don't know if he saw 25 goals in his first year here.
And a 7-year contract extension before Christmas or whenever that was.
Yeah. So I give him credit for that he wasn't going to make the trade without Doan, even though Doan wasn't the main cog at the time. He is going to turn into the main cog. He actually, he and Peterka both had 25 goals, but Doan had 4 more assists, and I'll take what Doan brings on the ice any day of the week over what Peterka. I don't care if Peterka scores 35 and Doan scores 25.
Yep.
I'll take what Doan brings on the ice every day of the week over what Peterka brings on the ice. So even without Kesselring in it, as I said, I would not rip on Adams at all, saying, well, this failed because of Kesselring. Well, you can't predict 3 fairly major injuries that kind of took him out of this season.
Do you have a fresh Alex Tuck take? Has anything changed for you in the last week or two on him?
No, we've talked about, I was just, sat down with the age thing. And,
You wrote about that. I don't know if you talked to him, Mike. I was off Monday. That's fresh. I heard you talking to Jared and Joe about this.
Well, it was a number of things. We had talked about what he had talked about in his press conference, talking about sports science, which is true. And Lindy Ruff does talk to sports science and believes in it. And that older players are becoming a little more, I want to say useful or, keeping up, not falling off is what I'm trying to say. So then Stahl goes out at 37 years old, scores 20 goals this year, scores in 5 consecutive games in the finals, and wins the Conn Smythe. So I said, okay, I got to sit down and start looking at some of the older players and how they produced this year. As far as, I didn't look at goalies, but as far as skaters, Burns and Perry, the oldest 2 at 41. Brett Burns plays all 82 games for Colorado, did score 12 goals from defense. And Corey Perry with L.A. and Tampa gets 17 goals at age 41. Ovechkin at age 40 scores 32. Malkin has 61 points in 56 games at age 39. A guy, I thought, look at Matt Zuccarello. He's 38. He got 54 points in 59 games for Minnesota. Marchand is still 54 points in 52 games at age 38. Stahl, we already talked about. Even if you want to go back 2 years, Stamkos is 36. He scored 42 goals this year. So maybe with the technology and the types of things that sports science brings to the game, maybe 38 isn't necessarily a death sentence in hockey anymore for a hockey player. And we have no way of knowing what Tuck is going to be at age 38, but you know me. You guys have been around me long enough. I was always the guy going, you don't sign guys and until at age 38. That's just crazy. You just don't do that. And now I'm the one saying, well, maybe you do that because things have changed. And Tuck used the example of Landeskog, talking about he felt 5 years ago Landeskog probably his career would have been over. He goes, but with the technology and with the treatments and the things and the sports science and the way things are done now, he was able to resurrect his career at a high level and be Landeskog again.
And he was
now,
out
he's
a
only,
long time.
32 or 33 years old, but still, that was the example he used.
Right. Well, unfortunately, none of this changes whether the Sabres want to pay him $10.5 or more a year for 8 years, but it's good to have in your hip pocket, right?
Well, the other thing I looked up is the Stamkos year, which was 2016. When he was the free agent, he signed on the 29th of June.
Right.
And that made Poso the best free agent. And remember last year, Besser got to free agency.
And then went back.
And a half hour into free agency, went back to Vancouver, could only get 7 years because he had hit free agency and re-signed with Vancouver. So, just because it's June 17th and Tuck hasn't, and they're still far apart, that doesn't mean things can't move.
Right.
Because we have seen examples where it has. Now, if the $8.5 million figure is correct, if that's all the Sabres are offering, I think that's a total embarrassment to Tuck. But is that also a negotiating ploy? All right, we'll offer him $8.5 million, and on the 29th, we'll offer him $10 million or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows? I'm not a negotiator. I don't know, but I just don't. If I'm Alex Tuck, he says you're not taking $8.5 million if that figure is correct.
Paul, thanks for this. We'll talk again next week, maybe.
Very soon, or maybe even on Friday. Paul.
Yeah. Draft is next week.
Keep your phone on, Paul. Paul's appearance with us here on WGR brought to you by Relax Honda. Relax, we got this.
Brian Koziol joining us after the update at 6 o'clock on a word or two on this trade, I'm sure, and then also the Pick 10. Oh, it's that day. The day before a golf major. Bulldog has the honor. You're on the tee this week.
I'm loose. I did all my stretching. Yeah, I stretch.
Don't be late like that one
I
guy
stretch
was.
at home. I'm not the guy that gets out to the first tee box and pulls his driver and starts doing the. I stretch at home. I have an assistant.
Do people make that noise when they do that?
Yes, they
generally
usually do. Yes.
All right.
I even do it when I'm pretending to do it.
Like just now?
Yes.
So Brian again at 6. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Bulldog is busy with his soccer, but I'm sure he'll have a minute to celebrate tonight that on this date in 1960, Ted Williams hit his 500th home run. Your favorite player ever.
All right.
How many others had hit 500 home runs before Williams?
1960?
Yes. You're going to get this.
It's gonna be it's definitely less than 10. I want to say.
A-Rod, Sammy Sosa. Those are not among those who had already done it by 1960.
I'm just gonna say half a dozen.
3.
Wow.
Mel Ott, 511. He's interesting because at the Polo Grounds, he played for the Giants, and they had like super short right field. Like it was a home run hitter,
right,
lefty paradise.
But center field was super far, wasn't it?
Yes,
Right.
but he had an interesting career, whereas like his road stats were just as good. Like he was a different hitter, not a home run hitter so much on the road, but he had a great career on the road as well.
All right.
Jimmy Fox and Babe.
Wow.
And Babe Ruth had 180 more home runs than Fox, who was second at the time.
How many 500 home run hitters are there now? Do you know?
Oh, I want to say 22.
All right.
What do you think?
Yeah, I want it to be at least double the 10 that I guessed, because like in 1960, if there's only 15 now, 10 was a lousy guess.
It's 28.
Okay. I feel better about 10 being my guess,
All
even though
right.
I was way off. I mean, I still missed by a lot, so I shouldn't feel that good.
And Williams finished with 524?
521 I have.
521.
Oh, look at
Nailed
that.
it.
Wow.
Tied for 20th all time with Willie McCovey and Frank
Happy
Thomas.
with myself that I retained that number.
Very good. Brian Koziol on the U.S. Open and the Sabres trade next here on WGR.
The Buffalo Sabres made a trade this afternoon. Defenseman Michael Kesselring and the 27th overall pick in this year's draft heading to San Jose, and the Sabres get in return the 20th overall pick. The draft is, of course, right here in Buffalo. It is next Friday and Saturday. And for more on this trade, Paul Hamilton does have a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. We also got some head coaching hirings in the NHL earlier today. Toronto going with Jim Hiller. Hiller was previously the head coach for the LA Kings for the past 3 seasons. He was fired this year, though, after 59 games in charge. And then Vegas, one day after announcing they're not bringing back John Tortorella, they find their guy. It's internal as they elevate Ryan Craig to the big chair. Craig spent the past 3 years as the head coach for Vegas' AHL team, the Henderson Silver Knights. In the World Cup, Portugal versus the Congo got the day underway. It goes 1-1, giving the Congo their first ever World Cup point. And then we are wrapping up here in Dallas. England takes down Croatia 4-2. The next game is at 7. It's in Toronto. Ghana takes on Panama. And then at 10, Uzbekistan. They go up against Colombia. That one in Mexico City. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Happy, the ball itself has its own energy, or life force, if you will. Its natural environment is in the home. So why don't you send them home?
It's Mike Schopp.
Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
And the Bulldog.
That Happy Gilmore, he's a real crack-up, isn't he? I mean, he's a hoot. You know, what was great today, one of his fans mooned me, and it had Happy written on his ass. Ha on the one cheek, and then, sure enough, PPY right there in the other.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Happy learned how to putt. Uh-oh.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
It probably happened. Shohei Ohtani started today pitching for the Dodgers. And then later in the game, pinch hit. I wonder if you can do that in Stratomatic. Can you start a pitcher and then use him as a pinch hitter later in the game? But that's allowed.
Wait, so he was in the game as a pitcher,
But not in the lineup.
But not, oh, right, DH. Oh, wow, okay.
Then he came in as a pinch hitter later.
While still in the game as the pitcher, right?
I don't know, actually. Does that matter?
I would think if you get removed from the game, you're removed from the game. I don't think there's no going back in as a bench player if you were in the line. Even if you're not in the lineup, you're in the starting line. You're the starting pitcher, the pitcher of record, whatever. You don't have to be the pitcher of record.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So okay.
I agree with you.
With the way you said that at first, I'm like, that you can't do that. You can't. But if he's still in the game and then gets inserted in the lineup, then that makes sense, I think.
Well, he went 6 and then pinch hit. Maybe that was in the 7th, so he would not have been removed yet.
Okay, that works.
That does work.
I'll allow it.
What else works? Brian Cozio, it's the Pick 10. Yay! I love this day. It's Bulldog's turn to pick golfers.
It's a Pick 10 and a side of Sabres trade.
And we have the Sabres trade to talk about. Brian, our host, Tee to Green, and also Sabres pre- and post-game throughout the season. Let's start there, I guess, and then we'll just dig into golf. U.S. Open this week at Shinnecock. Man, Kesselring, Brian, just did not work out. I guess that's pretty easy to say.
It did not. And obviously when the trade was made with Utah, it seemed like he was going to be kind of an intriguing player within the deal. I thought even, initially through the first set of games that he played, there was some offensive upside, but he never seemed to just finish on any of those opportunities, whether, I'm not saying that he was brought in to score mega goals, but there were some times where I was like, all right, that looks like maybe some of the things that maybe would have been intriguing in acquiring him, but he never was able to really finish a lot in terms of actually scoring. And then, of course, dealing with injuries, and then obviously other defensemen found their way onto the roster, and he just seemed to be kept pushing down and down and down. And as you guys have talked about, and Paul either earlier too, the number of different defenseman combinations that the Sabres put out there for their 5th and 6th pair down the stretch of the season and into the playoffs. I mean, they all essentially played over him in the end, to the point where, is Kesselring defenseman number 8, number 9, and number, where Lindy Ruff would view him. So if you say, well, you traded your 8th defenseman or wherever you want to slot him in to move up 7 spots in the first round, I guess that sounds okay for a guy that maybe wasn't going to even be a part of your future at all.
Yeah, and it does relieve any, qualifying offer, arbitration, whatever. Like they're out of the Michael Kesselring business. I'm hoping this is maybe the most optimistic take I can muster, Brian. I've already said a couple times that maybe already in preliminary, well, it doesn't have to be that preliminary. Trades are happening. It's trade season here. We're a week out or so from the draft. Maybe Kekalainen is finding that the 27th pick doesn't really move the meter as an addition to a trade package for a big whale of a player. But maybe some teams have told him, get me into the top 20, then maybe we can talk. And I hope that that's what this is, ultimately, that they flip that for someone proven, because I really had no interest in them picking 27th, and nor do I really have much interest in who they're going to pick 20th. I think if they can use it as an asset to get a player that can help them replace Alex Tuck, if it comes to that, then I'm totally here for that.
I agree. I think that they have quickly shifted into win now mode to the point where you maybe don't have to worry about who might be available in the late 20s in a draft and hope that maybe in a few years from now they could potentially turn out for you. I think that because of the season that it unfolded and their expectation, the fact that we were 1 goal away in a Game 7 of an overtime from them being in the conference finals, that I think their expectations of where they're at and maybe how they have to deal with prospects, I think has changed a little, obviously, for the good. So I think that that's fine. And, yeah, I would agree with you. If getting to 20 at least just even looks a little bit more attractive in a trade that does something else later on, then that's fine. So I don't want to say these are associated in any way, but obviously the Kesselring trade, just to maybe put like full closure on it with who they gave up for him, Peterka and Doan, the fact that Doan has just obviously blossomed into such a wonderful player in so many aspects and now is here long term and seemingly as likable of a player on this roster as almost anybody and does so many different things. I'm sure that also helps in this. I'm not saying it had anything that it had to have any connection to it, but in my mind,
I hear you. Yeah, like if
that trade overall, you're like, yeah, that trade still worked out for us, and that makes me feel even more confident about pushing this piece also a part of it.
Yeah,
too.
Maybe if Doan hadn't broken through to the extent that he had, even though Adams isn't there anymore, this might start falling apart already. I can feel the wheels wobbling underneath me as I'm trying to drive this to the finish line. That maybe the organization would have felt like we can't part with. We need Kesselring to work out. Otherwise, this trade looks like we got our heads caved in. Yeah,
because you traded away a guy that, we know Peterka isn't a complete player and has his negatives, but if it was literally just Peterka for Kesselring and maybe Doan was still developing or in and out of the lineup, like you would have whoa, geez, you gave up on that trade rather quickly. But, the Doan piece obviously makes it still seem like the Sabres won the trade overall.
Yep.
Brian, also on them, I know we're all fans, like we're all maybe not necessarily objective here, but I can't really understand how the Sabres are 5th in their own division for cup odds next year, well behind Ottawa, and 13th in the league at 28-1. Does it make sense to you that they would come in so low?
It doesn't. I mean, the only thing I can think of is that they obviously have not been a proven commodity for many years, and maybe people are thinking that people aren't just going to jump on and believe that they're a secure wager, I guess, overall. But, yeah, I mean, on paper, I can't imagine that they would be below a team like Ottawa. I mean, the Tampas of the world, and Florida, if you look at obviously where Buffalo finished first and where Florida ended up finishing, like, I guess you can argue it because of past history and maybe just the 3 cups in a row and the injuries caught up to Florida, and you figure, well, that's an easy bounce back for them. But beyond Tampa and just maybe what the public perception is and the bet would be with the Lightning, I can't see really anybody else having a strong argument to be ahead of Buffalo because of just how good of a season they had. So, yes, it is surprising to answer your question.
Okay. Let's get to the golf. So what do you think, Brian? How will Bulldog do here? He says he's had his picks prepared for a long time, and even was talking about one particular player weeks ago that was already in his bag here.
Yep.
So what do you think? How tough a job is this particular tournament, in your opinion, for finding the winner?
And just so you know, as you're about to respond to what Mike just posited, I've got the picks written down. So anything you say, I'm not gonna, unless you tell me you know that one of my guys has a broken arm, which is possible.
Oh, please do that.
I'm not planning to make any changes based on what you tell me.
Wow.
I think, the only player, and I would be, if I was picking, I would be like literally 50-50 is the defending Shinnecock Hills U.S. Open defending champion, and that's Brooks Koepka, because he has been playing well as of late, and he has been playing. He obviously played this course very well the last time the Open was there. He withdrew last week, for those that don't know, up in Toronto, and was actually in the lead at one point early on Friday. So that would be a player I'd be kind of like on the fence on. If you feel like you want to give a backup, I know we've done that in the past. I don't know if Mike was the one that came up with that idea or not, but and maybe you're not considering Koepka at all.
No, that's the guy. That's the guy who weeks ago. That's the player who weeks ago Mike is referencing that I was talking about, because I was reading about how well he'd been playing, and I just found out. I did not follow the RBC very closely. I knew he was off to a good start in it, and I just found out today that he's got a hand injury, but is planning to play. I'm intending to pick him. If you want to give me some relief there, I mean, I certainly would take it and pick another player.
If he pulls out before it starts.
Yeah, as a bet. But if he starts the tournament tomorrow, then that's it. I mean, I think
that's fair. You can have a backup for him, but if he takes a swing in the tournament and then he has to pull out, well, that's on you. That's your gamble, obviously, at that point, right?
Yeah.
I'll find you a guy. Yeah. I'll find you a backup.
But I liked him because I knew he won there the last time it was there, and how he'd been playing, and I was really hoping I would get good. I was hoping he'd be out of the top 20, but he's not. He's 17th. Same with, I've got Justin Rose, who I love, and he's 20 on the number. Like, so, but anyway, yeah, Koepka, I think I'm gonna take my shot with him, I guess. Here. So
interesting predictor that probably means nothing, but just a rare coincidence. The last 3 champions at Shinnecock Hills of the Open, which could have been Koepka, and then before that Goosen, and before that Haven, were all ranked number 9 in the world coming in.
Ooh.
And so 999, yes, the last 3 Opens at Shinnecock. This week's player that enters 9th in the world is the defending U.S. Open champion, not at Shinnecock, at Oakmont, J.J. Spawn. So that's kind of an interesting stat. That could be, just, I know you said you already have your list, but Spawn would be a guy. I also would be kind of on my radar, thinking about maybe here and there. And he's been up and down this year. He's had some good weeks and some bad weeks. But Spawn, of course, we know had the amazing story last year, or last time at Oakmont. That was a fun story to watch last year.
It was so good. Didn't he bogey the first 3 or 4 holes too? Like, he got a bad bounce off a tree, and how do you win from there? And he did. I loved it. And the putt. Bulldog.
One more thing here before we get to Bulldog. I saw another great stat. I know you guys love stats here, so here's another one. So Shinnecock is obviously one of the tougher venues that they play on the rotation. I've been soaking in as much. I love hearing like the history of the course. So I've been soaking in a ton about this. I'll have more on Tee to Green on Saturday because I don't want to take up too much of your time on this. But the
stretch out, buddy.
There's been 654 players that have played in a U.S. Open at Shinnecock, and out of the 654, only three have actually finished the tournament under par. And one of them actually didn't win.
Mickelson.
Yep. Goosen in 04, -4. Mickelson finished second, -2. Add that to Mickelson's U.S. Open bad luck. And then Floyd was the first one ever to do it in 86 at -1. But pretty amazing that only 3 have ever done it. When Koepka won it, he was +1 in 18, and Fleetwood right behind him at +2. But that just shows how hard Shinnecock has played from the second ever U.S. Open in 1896 all the way through the last one in 2018. So this will be the 6th time they host it. They haven't hosted it as much as Oakmont or Pinehurst, but still I thought that was a cool stat that only 3 of 654 ever finished the tournament under par.
I'll say this as long as you guys promise no follow-up questions. I loved Raymond Floyd.
I did too.
You did?
I don't know why.
What was it about that guy?
I don't know.
In '86, he was kind of old even then.
Yeah, like
and he won.
Kind of heavy.
And I was into it.
Yeah.
And he had like the Yellow Pages were his sponsor, or somebody like a phone company on his hat.
I have no idea what it was about him that appealed to me. Maybe I heard him talk once and just liked.
I don't know.
Is there a drawl there?
A little bit.
Yeah, Raymond Floyd. I liked him, and I don't know why.
All right, how about that? Brian, you want to join us on this or no? You're too young, maybe.
Sure. I only really remember him as a kid watching him in the Skins games, not as much as like a serious contender because he was just a little too older for when I started paying attention close enough. But I remember him and Trevino and Nicholas and Zeller playing in those Skins games a lot, which were always fun to watch.
Yep. What was it, like Long Island Bell or whatever he had on his hat there, a phone company. All right, so we've fooled around long enough. Bulldog can have Padraig Harrington if Koepka doesn't go. Plus 12,000.
I like he just assigned the backup to him.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I told him I'd find him a guy, and I did.
I'll have to get back to you on that. If I don't follow through, then shame on me. Whatever. I'm going to stay with Koepka, but I don't want to go out of order. So, tier 1 for folks who don't know. This is the pick 10. We do this for golf majors. The 3 top favorites pay half price. Top 20 after that pay full, and then anyone outside the top 20 in the odds pays double,
which is yet to happen.
Right.
No one we've picked has won from the back.
Right. So on tier 1, John Rahm can just take a vacation.
Wow.
Not interested in John Rahm.
Boom.
I'm gonna ride with Scotty. I don't know I read today, Brian, how much he's still the favorite, but it's not as large as it has been. And I don't know, is his game out of shape? I mean, we saw the highlights of him yelling. It was reported as like he was yelling and undressing his caddy a couple of weeks ago. And it was really just, I thought, frustration in general with the wind and the conditions or whatever. I don't think it was yelling, someone blaming the caddy for a bad read. But anyway, we saw him lose his temper is all I'm saying. How good a pick is Scotty in your mind?
I still think he's excellent. I mean, I saw a stat this week that said his proximity to the hole is about 10 feet more this year than it had been over the last 3 years where he's been so dominant in terms of his shots in, where he has just been locked. That's where he's just been so good with his approach shots. So he obviously is a little, and, he's still excellent, but just not like Tiger-like he was there.
Right.
In terms of his approach shots into the green. So, that's probably maybe where he's expecting to be the best in the world and expecting to beat players, and he's just maybe just a little bit off on that. But I think everything else for him is fine. I think if he obviously figures out a way to get that taken care of, he'll be right back to where he was. I still think picking him is totally fine, and I probably would be picking him too if I was selecting this week.
All right, and I'm also going to take Rory. Just, I don't love it, but I feel like I'll be kicking myself if, either one of the top, those top guys win this thing, and I decided not to take him. Rahm, I just feel like has been in this group all year, and I'm not sure it's still warranted. It would be my read, but whatever. I'm not an odds maker, so I'll leave him out. So Scotty and Rory at the half price tier or half payout tier. Tier 2, I can't stand Schauffele.
Really?
I don't like watching him play. I don't know. He just bugs me. But I'm gonna feel like an idiot not taking him within the group of the top 20 as a major winner already. So I'm gonna take Schauffele
2 times.
I hope he wins, but I can't. He's my least favorite pick of the picks I'm making here.
Okay.
I'll take Matt Fitzpatrick. I feel like he's always around in these things now, so I want to have him. Ahlberg is another guy that I feel like is always a letdown. But he's great and is going to win one someday, right? So I'm going to do that. Siwoo Kim, just same. Top, great player, maybe time. Koepka and Rose. Those are my full price or full payout. Choices, my long shot. I am going to take Spawn to go back-to-back here.
I wanted to root for him.
And I'll take Min-Woo Lee.
No Harrington.
No, no.
Also major winner.
Yeah.
2-time major winner.
So those are my long shots.
All right.
Okay.
And mostly
Spawn pick.
Go
it's
ahead.
fun. I like it.
All right.
No Aaron Rye?
I don't like the 2 gloves.
2 gloves,
And plus,
one too many.
who wins the PGA and then the U.S. Open?
Well, I can get you a list.
Tiger did it once. I know that.
Brian's been running cold in this.
Not when they were in this order, though.
Listen, I'm still burned by the 2 gloves because it was my turn to pick in the rotation for the PGA, and I don't want to speak for you both, but I would guess neither of you nor myself would have picked Aaron Rye. So you get caught up in the wave sometimes of a player like that. And again, he was ranked 40 something in the world, so that wasn't like he couldn't win. I wouldn't even say like surprising. It's just when you're only picking 10 guys, he's not going to be one of your 10. So I'm a little miffed still about losing the PGA bet.
Well, I don't blame you. You've been running cold here. Like you had that, and then you had Spawn at the Open last year, and you didn't pick him, which no one would either blame you for at the time. Didn't I have Burns, who was like right there, which was kind of, I think he was the double pay. Like that was going to be the first one ever, and I just missed that last year. Okay. I think of the loser there being Adam Scott, but it was there were a few contenders.
Burns might not have been second, but he was right in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian did win twice in 2024 with Scheffler at Augusta and Schauffele at the Open Championship, but each only paid half.
Right.
Yeah.
So really, Brian is due, which I hope that streak.
Which is good because you and I are together this week. Yes.
Let's go, Brian. All right. You got time tomorrow to help recap the first round later on, like maybe this time tomorrow.
Yeah. And one last thing here we'll throw in. The USDA sent a memo to the players that they're going to be watering greens possibly at any point in between groups because of the winds that are going to be picking up tomorrow. So look for the winds to be a factor. It's really close to the ocean out there out in the Hamptons. And I know when I was there in 2004, they were doing it on the 7th green in between groups, and that was wild. They lost that green. I mean, the perfect shots were falling off, so they don't want that to happen again. So look for that. I'm sure that the TV cameras are going to love showing that because it'll be a juicy story for them to talk about.
I mean, it's what's better when watching sports than seeing the grass get watered. That's just really one of the highlights of all sports coverage. Thanks, Brian. We'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Bulldog, good luck.
Thank
sort
you.
of, not really.
Thank you, guys.
I'll be watching.
Don't mean it at all. Yeah,
I'll be watching.
Bright and early tomorrow. What's the first groups? What time? I don't even know.
I mean, it's going to be light out there at 5, so they could probably play 6:30, something like that.
Yep.
Jeremy Kahn with us earlier talking about the Ravens. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. That's next here on WGR.
Westwood One Sports presents this World Soccer Update. Final stages of the Group L opener in Dallas. England beating Croatia 4-2, pulling away in the second half with goals from early lead 6 minutes in, but a Congo header by Yoann Wissa just before halftime leveled the score. DR Congo with its first ever World Cup goal and result. All eyes were on Cristiano Ronaldo, who played 90 minutes but did not register a shot on target. His goal drought in major international competitions is up to 10 games. I'm Lucas Panzica, Westwood One Sports.
You know, I used to think all money managers were the same until I spoke with Fisher Investments.
Really? How different are they?
Fisher's investment counselors are dedicated to service, not sales, keeping clients up to date on their portfolio.
Well, they probably just invest in a bunch of mutual funds like I do.
Nope. They build a tailored portfolio based on their clients' personal goals, helping them stay on track for a comfortable retirement.
Well, they must make commissions selling products.
Actually, Fisher doesn't sell any commission-based products. They're a fiduciary, and they believe that's a conflict.
Then they have some kind of complex fee structure.